Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, your paranormal portal podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by this supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Donny. Welcome in, Donny. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
How was your week? Good?
Yeah, busy.
Busy.
And tiring, but good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you weren't throwing up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sysco got sick again. Unbelievable. I can't even. Uncommon and I have been down all week, and it's been a heck of a couple of months, man. But I am thankful to be here tonight. That's what we're talking about tonight. Tonight is we are thankful for our listeners and this wonderful, wonderful chat. I am thankful for Vixen Doe and Kevin. Hello, welcome in AJK, Sasha Bell, Lindsay. Hello, love. Hello. Bobby, I got something special that you're going to really enjoy, Bobby, coming up here in just a few minutes. I saw your name in there. I got really excited. You're really going to dig this. Hello, Cassie. Fast Hemi, I haven't seen you in a hot minute, baby. How you doing? Salvador.
Sysco, hold on. Is something going on with your mic? Your sound is kind of different tonight.
Different tonight? Hang on. Is it low? Let me see if I can set it right. Is it low?
No, it was like at certain points it would sound very, I don't know. How would you describe it? Mechanical? Kind of buzzy? It was like buzzy.
Buzzy?
Like when you say certain sounds.
Okay. All right, how's it sounding now?
It's sounding better now.
Is that a little better? Oh, you're welcome, Bobby. I was excited to see, I think, what you would hear of it. And Ed, now I've got some special ones in here for you too tonight. Blue, welcome.
It's back again. Yeah, it is tinny. That's the word I was looking for.
Tinny. Maybe it's me.
I think it's like some level is off or something.
Say tinny. I don't know. I'm afraid to mess with too much.
It says it's too loud.
It's too loud.
Yeah.
I can turn it back down. Is it too loud, sweetie? Okay, let's see what I can do. Hold on. Let's see. Echo cancellation. Let me try this and see if that does anything. Does that sound any better?
It's sounding better so far.
Yeah? Is that better?
Yeah. Actually, that sounds pretty good.
Sounds pretty good. Should I recite something? Mic check, check. We the people, in order to form a more perfect
union.
Yeah,
you're sounding a lot better. Sounding a lot better.
I could have gone further, but that's okay. You have anybody in here that you saw that I missed? We'll catch them through.
Yeah.
So this is what we're doing. Donny and I are working. Should we tell him what we're working on, Donny? And I didn't want to lay too much research on Donny. He had a very busy week, and he probably have a busy week next week. Hey, Jamie. Welcome. I am thankful for each and every one of you. I am thankful for everybody who listens later. I am very thankful we hit a milestone just a couple hours ago. We are 1,500 subscribers. Give yourself a hand. Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for commenting. It helps so much when you comment underneath, and so many people have. People really enjoyed the Bonnie and Clyde, Don. I mean, we had so many compliments on that in the comments, and people sending me DMs and stuff. Trying our best to give the truth about it, and some people were a little upset because their whole life they had believed one thing, like that one story about Bonnie going and shooting that one police officer. But I thought to myself, I know, woohoo, right, Sasha Bell? That's wonderful. And it's completely organic. It's, some people pay to get, subs, and they do all kinds of little gadgets and gadgets and whatnots. And I don't have time for gizmos like that. I'd rather people just subscribe because they want to be here, and share it because they want to share it, and give it a thumbs up. We appreciate that so much. And it's just organic. I'm not going to play the games. I'm not going to do I'll do a couple of shorts here and there, but that's mostly for you guys to see what's coming up, or to preview something that might be coming if I have time to do one of those. Or we just did a recent one of little Mr. Bucephus, and I was asking him if he wanted something to eat, and he answers me anytime you say eat. That's the first word he learned, eat. And eat and treat, but they sound alike. So I'm still. Does he decipher both words, or it's just food? Food, food, food. Hey, Ann, welcome in, darling. And it got, I think, 2,000 something hits in 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, I should just have a channel about kittens. I'm thinking about it. But the thing is this, we do our thing, we do it our way. We have nice long talks, we do deep, deep dives, we do 5-episode things like on Lincoln and Amityville and things like that. And the thing today is a lot of people's attention span are like, it's like 10, 15 minutes, like of a goldfish. So everybody, they want everything instant. Hey, Three Souls Paranormal, welcome in. We're not instant. I'm trying to get it right, um, 60 years old, been in this 50 years pretty much, because I count from 10 when I was really starting to ask people what's going on here. Why am I seeing this? Why is this happening? Have you seen anything? To me, that's paranormal. That's at least paranormal inquisitive. I want answers, right? So, but I've had experiences, earlier than that. So, my thing is this, I want to leave something behind that has as much of that info that I've collected for others, because of that, like when I was that little girl trying to do research and I couldn't find anything. I'm going to give you the truth, whether I like it or not, and, sometimes it doesn't fit the narrative, but if I say, I'm pretty confident it happened this way, I've got it from like 5, 6, 7, 8 different sources, I'm not going to just go with it. I mean, even if you just look at one simple detail of what Bonnie had in her hand from multiple accounts since 1934. It's anything from a peach to a BLT, a half-eaten BLT, a sawed-off shotgun, and a magazine, and multiple other things. That's just what she had in her lap. If you can't get that detail right, how good are you on other details? So you really have to decipher what was the narrative, what was the point, what were they trying, were they making up something to fit their thing? Because the truth is important, and we're not going to know all the details, but we can at least get some common ones right. She had a BLT. It was she had a chance to take a little bit out of it, and what was laying outside of the car on Clyde's side, laying in the road, was his fried bologna sandwich. He never even got a chance to take a bite out of. So little details, right? A big detail is who shot that young cop who was going to be married in 12 days. His fiance wore, hey, Toby, his fiance wore her wedding dress to the funeral. He has a right for people to tell the truth about who shot him. Okay. And it wasn't Bonnie. It wasn't Bonnie. Okay. It was Henry Mifflin. And the police changed that. They changed that for their reasons, for their narrative. And it's been proven. And it was his fingerprints on the bottle. So little things like that. I want you to know this because we should know the truth, right? Are you saying a bit yum? Which one, Cassie, to the BLT or the fried bologna? How's Toby doing this week?
Toby's he's good.
Well,
He's just
Spirit and
needy for
Boo.
attention. He's needy for attention.
I was thinking of Toby this week because I remember when you said that he had eaten your dad's was it his hearing aids? Okay.
Yeah.
They got 2 earphones on me this week too. One right
Oh, they
after
chewed
the
up your
other.
earphones?
Right
Oh
while I
no.
was wearing them, and I was so unaware because I was watching a video, and all of a sudden the video started changing. Like when you hit the button, it'll go to the next
Hmm.
video.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden there was some other stuff going on, and then it just all the sound went out, and I'm like, what's going on with my phone, And I look over, and it both of them are sitting like on my stomach on the other side of the blanket, and I'm watching the video, and I look over the blanket, and there's their two faces. They look like little kitten Christmas lights because they were both sitting there and had the wire going through their mouths like they were little
Hmm.
Christmas lights. And they took that last little, and that was sound went, and I'm like, you
Oh
little.
damn, they destroyed it. Oh, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, and no, my hands are better. They're not
Oh, good.
100%, but they're getting like, like 50%
Let
better.
me know when you can get that CBD cream.
Yeah.
That hemp fusion CBD cream. You put that on, and I've told a lot of people in the chat about it. You put that stuff on, rub it in, and it's got the balance of the 45. I want to say tarpons. I don't know anything about this, but the guy that I trusted told me it has to be that 45 even balance. So 45 CBD and 45 of tarpons. Again, I don't understand that completely, but it works. So, I mean, it was like 28 bucks a jar, and I'm like, oh man, this better work. And he's like, dude, if it doesn't, you bring it back. Try it in a couple of days, and if it doesn't, bring it back. And okay.
Hmm.
So I did. First night, and my hands, come on, I've done construction, shoveling, concrete. I have not been kind to my hands, wire sculpting, constant stuff. And, and again, floral design. So if you don't think that's tough, let me tell you, all day long you're chopping, cutting, all day long.
Plus, there's a lot of
So,
like, it's a lot of like fine hand movement. That's got to be
yeah.
actually worse for your
Well,
hands.
my
Yeah.
knuckles were so bad. Well, my youngest son was 3, so we're going back almost, we're going back, a good 28 years ago. My knuckles would get so bad, hi Sue, that you could just see them going and starting, get swell, like right, especially
Mhm.
around a storm or something. And I'd put that on, and like Valentine's Day or something like that, I would paper tape my fingers, where the knuckles were bad or whatever, and just keep that underneath, no problem. If I put it on at night, uh, or I didn't wear a little pair of cotton gloves if you want to do that, just to keep it in till it really gets good and soaked in. And the next day, no swelling. Knee, hip, back, that sciatic. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
it's like one application. Pulled muscle. It's totally worth it. Gray, we're gonna have to get together, and maybe I don't know the whole thing with getting stuff into Canada. I know there's like all kinds of rules and stuff like that, but maybe DM me. Maybe I can get it for you here and mail it out there. I mean, gosh, it would be so worth it. Or maybe I can go talk to Just Nutrition. I know they have it, and maybe we can set something up there where you could get it from that store. I know that's not the people who put it out, but they do have it on the shelf. So let me see if we can do something like that, because you definitely need that stuff. I mean, it's the bomb.
Okay.
EALM.
Cisco, I gotta run for a couple minutes. Toby
Okay,
is
sweet.
making it very clear that he wants to be fed, and so I
Okay.
gotta feed him
Well,
right
I
now.
can I can jibber jabber. Go ahead while
Yeah.
he. So
Yeah.
tiger claws. Oh, the tiger claw. The cat's claw. Okay. Also, that's good. That's good. So you think it's helping. Okay. So remember we talked about your base, and then you add a little, add a little, add a little, like 3 days, 3 days, every 3 days you can up it until you find your base. So do that, especially if it's getting colder, if it's rain, if it's snow. Now, DM me if you have any questions, honey. I always have time for you, Lindsay. So please, I'd rather you ask me and I help you than to you be afraid to take up my time or something. I'm never too busy to help a friend. It might take me a minute to get to the message, but I will get to it. And if I don't, message me again. Okay. If I didn't say hi, Paradox, hello, love. Let me see. I'm seeing if I see it. Glenn, did I say hi to you, sweetheart? Is Ted? Did anybody see Ted? Okay. If you see Ted, let me know. Okay, so another thing I wanted to mention, God bless everybody in Buffalo, New York. 77 inches of snow, I think within 2 days. It's taller than me, way taller than me. And, I can't even imagine, yeah, pinched sciatic nerve. That it saves me, man. Cat's claw, and this balm, which is, I've only found this balm past couple of years. But oh, Oh, we're baking cupcakes early tonight. Get 'em, mods. Da 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 da. Oh, Ted's not here. I know you guys have got it already. I'm sure. Yep. Sasha Bell got him. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me see if I can find it while I'm yammering on here. I did want to say my heart goes out to everybody who got snow. If you're having a hard time keeping warm, um, please, God, I hope not. But listen, I'm going to throw out a couple of ideas. There you go. You got some shut the fuck up cakes baked for you. Not up in here, not with my mods. They are Black Ops mods, baby. So, thank you, darling. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Sasha Bell. Thank you, mods. Again, I'm going to go over a couple things I mentioned last year, just in case. Thank you, Jamie. Um, all right. You've all seen the clay pot, the little clay pot heaters, right? I use them through Sandy. I have them now. I got more of them. I got a larger pot and then a smaller pot. Look it up. It's all over YouTube. It's, I forget what they call it, a Swedish heater or something like that. It works. 4 little tea lights or any other candle. You just have to have it up a little higher if you're using a larger candle. So what I did was I used like the clay saucer, and then I'll use something to lift it, like okay, you know those cages you can get at like the dollar store, at the Home Depot, whatever, and you put the coconut liner in it and you can use it as a hanging basket, and it's just wire. It's just a wire basket, but it's good. It's good metal. I'll turn that over and then put the clay pot on that. There's a couple of casserole little holders, like metal holders that they used to have for all these casserole pots for your table. And get them at the thrift store. You can lift it up with, a stack of quarters. You just have to make sure everything you're using is not flammable, of course. And the other thing is don't make sure that the tea lights or whatever candles you're using aren't touching. Now, there's been a couple of problems with them, but usually what it is they have the candles touching and they leave it so long that it overheats, and then sometimes it spills over. So be careful with that. But I never had a problem with them. I always put them on a surface that if it did something like that, it wasn't going to burn, like a piece of slate or piece of marble, or something that's not going to burn. I mean, a cookie sheet, whatever you want to do. But I'm telling you, it will heat a room. It will heat a room, but you got to be smart about it. If you want to cut off some of your room with blankets or hang blankets over your windows, you'd be shocked at how much that helps. If you're really having a hard time staying warm, pick a room, get a tent, especially if you've got kids you're trying to keep warm. Get a tent, put the blankets on the tent, put the tent in the room, because now it's about 20 to 25 degrees higher in that tent than it is in the room. And you can really stay warm that way. Let's not have any casualties. Let's not have anything happen to people trying to stay warm.
Wait,
Candle.
Cisco, are you talking about the candle heating up your room trick that you told me over the phone that one time?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you know
The
what's
clay
funny?
pots.
You know what's funny about that? When you told me that over the phone, I think like the next week I was just kind of like scrolling through my phone and an article just popped up like what to do to heat up your home, and then it was the same
Really?
trick that you told me, and I was like,
Yeah,
what are the odds of
it
that
works.
happening?
Mm. Without the wrench, I'm useless. Glenn, you have a wrench. Without me, the wrench. Oh, without you, the wrench is useless. I gotcha. Without the okay, I get it. I was gonna like, oh my gosh, they took his wrench away. Okay, he's got one. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, good. Yeah, so that the clay pots work. Okay, yes, yes, yes. That's another thing. Thanks, Aunt Edna. Crisco. Now, I don't know in other countries what they call it. It's like I get Aunt Edna. Isn't Crisco just like whipped lard? Isn't it? I think it is. But you can take it out of the can. I put it in the metal, like those tins that you can get at the dollar store or
I've never
Walmart.
heard of Crisco.
Okay, it's whipped lard. So it's
Whipped
it's
lard?
yeah, it's like for cooking grease. So it would be like where the oil is in the grocery store. Down at the bottom would be like a
Spray?
no, no, no. It's a can. It almost looks
Oh,
like icing or like a white fluffy butter.
does it come out like whipped cream?
Nope, it's more the consistency of grease. like hair pomade or something like that. It's yeah, they do make icing from sugar and lard. They in Target,
Oh,
Walmart.
so it's basically a lard-based cooking oil.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, okay.
So that
No,
stuff
well,
will
the thing
burn.
is, AJK and Asia, they use something different. They don't,
Hmm.
Crisco is not something you see in Korea, for example.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
there's other names for it too, but Crisco's like
They
that's
do
one of
use
those,
pig lard for cooking, though. They do that a
right.
lot in Korea.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to say to use something else because I'm sure
Mhm.
like the store brand Crisco would be just fine. But
Mhm.
I don't know in other countries. I'm told it sometimes comes in a thicker block, and I'm not sure about that. I'm sure that would burn as well. But anyway, the thing is this: the Crisco candles, you can make those, and they'll burn like a month.
Hmm.
And I mean, so what I do is I'll either get that in sterno too, but the sterno that I find is like 4 hours, something like that. You know, whereas like if I buy a thing of Crisco, I can go to the dollar store and I'll buy the cookie tins that are metal with the lid. And yeah, I can take the lid, I can make the Crisco candle ahead of time, and I'll go and get the dollar store taper candles, like the emergency candles, and stick them right in it. And once they burn down to the Crisco will burn. There's depending on how much you use. Now, again, there are multiple YouTube channels, videos on this, so you can look like Crisco candles or whatever, lard candle, and it'll tell you the size and how long it'll burn. But I went and I got a bunch of those tins in different sizes, and I bought Crisco over time and those little emergency candles, stick them in. And I burnt one, and I'll tell you, the small one, I mean, the little small one, like you could put maybe 6 cookies in it. It's a little tin, a metal tin with a lid. That thing burnt for 2 weeks.
Do
This is
they
heat.
smell weird?
No, they don't smell at all unless you put
Oh.
something in it. And I don't recommend you do,
Hmm.
because here's why. Do not put essential oils in this, because the flash point on essential oils, now you're starting to get into some, you know, quantum entanglement there with the physics and all. What you're getting into is your flash point of your oils. Some oils will catch fire at certain different temperatures. And if you don't know that, please don't mess with it, because it will cause a fire. So don't put essential oils in it. Put your essential oils in something else so you can enjoy that.
Hello, be
But keep
kind.
these candles just, with the Crisco, and that way you're safe. Do that to stay warm. If you're out electric, uh, please, before it happens, go to the dollar store, buy a bunch of the solar lights, the ones that you stick outside, stick them all in a group, get them all, solared up, get them all charged up. And then I brought them in during Sandy. I'd bring them in and I'd save empty bottles. Now, don't ask me why this works. It has something to do with the water and everything else. If you've got a clear 2 liter bottle, you fill it with water, and I just stick the solar light top of the bottle, right in sits the stick part sits in the water. And I put that in like the bathroom in front of a mirror or around. For some reason, the water underneath reflects the light out. And if you put it in front of a mirror, you can light a whole room with this, enough to walk around. Hey, Reekin Havoc, how you doing? Welcome in. So you could, right back at you, baby. So I got a whole, like a light a bathroom. I mean, you could walk around the house. It didn't cost anything but what the dollar store light cost, you know, and those kept our house going. So get you lots of tea light candles, get you some Crisco, start preparing now. If you have pots outside and you're trying to stay warm, go out there, knock the dirt out of them, bring them in, clean them up, get you some candles, watch a couple of those YouTube videos, and heat that room up. There's no reason to, and body heat. So bed with a buddy, or fur babies, and get those animals inside. We don't want any animals outside freezing. That's a lot of snow in Buffalo, and I know Canada got hit. Everybody was getting hit. I should have had snow pictures tonight, but I figured that you guys had seen enough snow. So I stayed with the fall Thanksgiving theme. So that's why we're here tonight. Donnie, did you have any ideas on how to stay warm and keep busy? Decks of cards, keep moving. You know, there's all different ways. Gosh, I have a little stove that I got for Christmas. My son gave me. It's a little fold-up stove for my bug out bag, and it just comes up. It's a little square, It's got little holes in it, little bottom, and I mean that's like a little camping stove. It's just adorable, and you'd be surprised at the different things you can do to stay warm. Okay, be careful of inside generators. If you're going to run something like that or kerosene, please keep a window cracked. Get a carbon monoxide alarm. What do you call that? Like a smoke
Uh,
alarm. Yeah,
yeah, carbon
warning
monoxide
system.
detector. Yeah.
Yeah, please, please be safe. You know, only candles I use, I light and stick in my ears. Oh, I've done that too. The wax candle, ear wax candles. Yep, they work. They do. They work.
Blue Cross
So
was
there's
like,
lots
here's
of
an
ways to
idea,
stay
move
warm.
to Florida.
Yeah. And
There's
then you'll
always
be
that.
going, oh my God, it's so hot. How do we cool off?
And then
Right. I think
hurricane
it's,
season comes, and then people are like,
yeah,
"Oh, I shouldn't have moved to Florida. It's a
right,
hurricane."
right. I'm just, what I'm worried about is people, do not do this, folks. No generator inside ever, ever, ever. I worried about kerosene. I had to use kerosene heaters. I've had wood burning stoves. I've had the whole shebang. Um, and that always worried me, the kerosene heaters. But you got to have a source, up high, crack the windows up. But then you think about safety, so put something so nobody can open your window. I mean, it's a crazy world, man. But if you think ahead, be prepared, don't be scared. You know what I mean? Use your logic. And the big thing is yeah, I was actually laying down last night thinking the craziest thing. Yeah, keep the generator outside, absolutely. Unless you got a solar generator, then
Isn't
you're
that
good to
common
roll.
sense? Aren't you?
Well, not as common as it used to be, sweetheart. So
Jeez.
they say common sense because it's not,
No, see,
but it's not as common.
I'm a proponent of social Darwinism. Bring those generators inside, folks.
Oh, shut up, Tony.
Bring them
No, no, no,
inside.
no.
Social
Disclaimer.
Darwinism, baby.
Disclaimer. Disclaimer. Yep. Hey, are you kidding me? Hi, sweetheart. Welcome in. We're talking about candles and staying warm and snow and Thanksgiving and things I'm thankful for. I'm thankful to be warm. Um, I'm thankful for so many things. It's the simple things that matter. It truly, truly is. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about that tonight. And then we're gonna ask you what you're thankful for and what you'd like to talk about if you had any questions or anything. Because I know Donnie says we got to keep it paranormal, but this is everything. This show is everything. It's paranormal, supernatural, metaphysical, conspiracy, mystery, and right now, it's a mystery on where did all the things go? Where did all the this the love for the simple things, the love for the
Oh,
spending time with your family, and be grateful for the things that you have, and stuff like that. So go ahead, Donnie.
just real quick, anyone if in the chat, if you got any questions or anything you want us to read up here, because I'm watching all the individual chats, just write what you want in all caps.
Right, yes.
Even
So
though I personally hate all caps, but for this
no, I
purpose,
love all caps. I like
I got to
yelling
take the
all the
bullet
time.
and be like, okay. So if you got
I like
anything
yelling all the
you
time.
want to ask or want us to read out loud, just type it in all caps.
Absolutely. And I'm very thankful for apple cinnamon tea in my Tigger cup, which I have tonight. I'm very grateful for the babies. And like I said earlier, I put little Boo up there. I'm sorry. Bucephus. I put Bucephus on a little short just to make everybody smile because I said, "You want to eat?" And you went, "Meow." They're so vocal. They talk like little aliens when they walk around, and they're like, bloop, 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 and they're talking to each other. So I thought I would real quick give little spirit. And I think Anne asked me, it may have been Anne, it might have been Vixen Doe. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but today, if I thought Spirit was the runt because he looked smaller. I don't know, because when I went in there to get them, I knew I was getting Spirit, and I said, whichever brother he is most connected to, I want him as well. And I tried not to make eye contact with any other kitty. It was so hard. I went in and I made sure I touched, pet all of the older cats, just to tell them that somebody loved them. But the kittens, I couldn't look at anymore because, I mean, how do you choose and leave some behind, So I don't know if he was the right. I don't think so. Where is Yoko? Oh no, nobody knows, honey. I don't even
I
think
think she's in
Yoko.
the UK.
I don't think you. Hey, Jose, welcome in. I don't even think Yoko knows where she is or cares.
I think she's in the UK.
All right. So real quick, I had to give little Spirit, his due too. So I thought I would share it with you because I'm thankful for these little faces, and keep in mind, I'm very thankful for the 17 years I had with Mr. Dickens. They both have his name as their middle name. His name was Dickens McGee, and it's Spirit McGee and Bucephus McGee. And when I told the vet that, she almost cried. It was funny, how connected we are and how quickly we understand what we're doing when we do stuff like this. So believe me, he's all over, and I'm pretty sure he arranged this. So here he is in all his glory, real quick, but I thought it would give you a smile.
Hey, Spirit, you want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi. Good, thank
Wait.
you. You leaving? Hey. Love you. Hey. Spirit, love you. You say hi, get kisses? Where's my kisses? Where are the kisses?
Why did it stop? There we go.
Oh, be kind. We're freestyling it tonight.
Too cute, little buddy. Oh, the baby. Oh my goodness.
We're answering audience
Oh, my
questions.
baby.
That's their comforter, by the way.
Look
That's
at them
theirs.
cutie pies.
That's
Going to
theirs.
sleep? You guys go night night?
Tell me they don't look happy, right? There you go. You got just a little quick bunch of fur babies. So I had, aren't they cute? Look how big they got. They eat all the time. All the time. Every time you get up, they think it's eat time. And I always think in Steve's story, is it food time? From the Black Eyed Kids. Is it food time? Is it food time? That's it's like, I think Bucephus wakes up like that. Is it food time? Is it food time? Hey, Darkwood, welcome in. Hey, we are thankful for every single person in here. Donnie, I was going to take this real quick, just to get it up front. And that way, everybody who has to leave early, or whatever, I know there's a lot going on. Everybody's like either cooking or traveling or doing whatever. I found this little ditty. Now, this is going to blow your freaking socks off. It did mine. It's from 1952, Donny Cho. 1952. Now, that's about 10 years older than me. Okay? Exactly 10 years older than me. And I found it absolutely astonishing. Not only going back just 10 years before I was born, but how much has changed since then. And then you start getting into the story of what the dad is saying. Hello, Steve. Welcome in, baby. Then you're going to love this, Steve, if you hang around. It's about 12 minutes long. If you hang and watch this, you're going to love it. I thought about you when I was pulling it down. I thought it was a shame you weren't going to see it. But when you listen to what the dad is saying, I ask you to hang in there, okay? Because I need you to get to the end where it all comes together. What's different, what's the same, and what these people are saying that they're thankful for. And I want you to look at how different just the 70 years has been and where we are now. Bobby, this is the one I was talking about. AJK, you're going to love this too. I think it's going to astonish you. I really do. And then if it's not for that, it would be for the nostalgia. And maybe while you're watching it, think of the stuff that you're really thankful for. I know everybody in this chat gets that, but maybe some of the listeners along the way that see it. Hey, Sarah, welcome. Sees it down the line. And if I didn't say hi to you, hello, darling. So here we go. And we'll talk about it after. You good, Donnie?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this. Whoa, this looks old.
52, baby.
I'm Bill Johnson. Around here, they just call me Dad. I've been trying to read, but I just can't seem to do it. Thanksgiving Day. We Johnsons had a good Thanksgiving, the best we've ever had. And I can't help thinking that what made it better was a real feeling of thankfulness. And that's odd, too, when you consider the shape things were in when I got home from work yesterday. My kids, Dick and Tommy and Susan, were all home from school. And of course, Mother and the baby were there. As kids will, mine were living tomorrow right along with today, looking forward to Thanksgiving. And like most men, I'm glad it was Mother instead of me who had to break the news to them.
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Turkey and dressing and pie and cake.
And fruit salad and whipped cream and cranberries. Gee, I can hardly wait. Me too.
Well, you know, children, we've had a lot of expenses this month, and, well, your father and I thought that... Well, the truth of the matter is, there just won't be any turkey this year.
No turkey for Thanksgiving?
Oh, I'm going to make a pumpkin pie. We'll have plenty to eat, but, well, we'll just have to get along without turkey.
Mom, you don't mean it. There won't be Thanksgiving at all.
Even the Pilgrims had a feast. After all, isn't that what Thanksgiving's for? I don't think it's fair.
And it was right there that I came in, right in the thick of it. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Paul.
Oh, Mother, Dick, Susan. Well, what's been going on around here? What's the matter with everybody, anyway?
Mom says we're not going to have any Thanksgiving. No turkey, no good thing.
A fat lot we're going to have to be thankful for.
Oh, I don't think you kids really mean that.
We do, too. We've always had turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yes, and everybody else in the block's going to have it this year, as always.
Yes, we've always had tea, just as a lot of Americans have had it, and we'll keep on having it. Turkey on Thanksgiving is a great American tradition. But what you kids are saying makes it sound as if the turkey's the only thing we had to be thankful for.
Well, gee whiz, no, Dad. It's not that at all.
Oh, I know, Dick. With turkey, it's easy to lose sight of what Thanksgiving really means.
And don't think we're just making excuses because we don't have any turkey this year. We know it'll mean a lot more to us the next time we do have it.
Well, sure. Suppose we don't have a bang-up feast. We're still a lot better off than the Pilgrims.
That's it, Dick. Do you other kids see what Dick's trying to say? Turkey or no turkey, we've still got all the freedoms and privileges the Pilgrims gave us. And out of those privileges have come a lot of things. Things the Pilgrims never even dreamed of.
Why, we could make a list a mile long. Why don't we do it?
But now, hold on a minute. You've got the idea, but it isn't something you can write down like a grocery list. You've got to feel it down deep before you can really be thankful for anything. I tell you what let's do. Let's take a little more time to think this over. When you get right down to it, there are some pretty tough decisions in making up your mind what means the most to you. Your life? Sure, that's one thing you can't get along without. But do you know that there are some places in the world today where you have to get along without just about everything else?
Golly, Daddy.
I guess I kind of got carried away. But I'll bet you one thing. If we really think over what we have to be thankful for, when we sit down to whatever Mother fixes to eat tomorrow, we'll be one family in America that will really have a Thanksgiving dinner. Well, that's how it got started. The Johnsons didn't have any turkey. And the kids, no, I mean everybody, likes to make something special out of a special day. So we fell back on something as old as the Pilgrims, toting up the common, ordinary blessings that we had to be thankful for. That night, I'd see Dick there building his model airplane, and Susan just playing. Only they weren't just playing. They were mulling things over, thinking big thoughts for such young heads. And as for Mother and Tom and baby Janet, and yes, me too, it was as if we had our eyes open for the first time, seeing all the things there were to appreciate in just any ordinary day in America. When Thanksgiving Day got here, we took our places around the table and we were ready. And then, well, we all knew it. There are some things you just can't say. But everybody in his own way knew what he had to be thankful for, and that this was the time to think about it. Tom was first.
I am thankful for getting plenty to eat all the time, with extras that count, like cookies and milk after school. Like Mom says, I'm hungry all the time anyway, and if I didn't live in a country where there was plenty to go around, golly. And I'm thankful for the free public library, where I can get books about adventure. Jack London, Richard Halliburton. Gee, the way they tell a story is as good as being there yourself. And it's free, with only a library card.
Yes, Tommy thought about some of the things he ought to be glad for all the time. And somehow turkey and trimming seemed to matter a whole lot less than he thought they did yesterday. Well, then it was Susan's turn. Susan's a happy-go-lucky kid. You'd never credit her with thinking beyond her dolls, but she got right into the spirit of it.
I am thankful we have what we need to wear. Though Mother says it's hard to keep up with us, we grow so fast. I never thought before how many clothes it takes for all kinds of weather, or how it would be to have to do without the right ones. I'm glad to be able to go to Sunday school, or go to any church I want, any Sunday. I'm thankful for my mother and daddy, that they are here with us, that both of them aren't too worried about things to take time to have fun with us. I'm glad we're a family, that families are still important in America.
I guess Dick, being the oldest, was having some pretty serious thoughts.
I am thankful for being able to get an education, for living where schools, all schools, open their doors to a guy who wants to learn, where school books are studied instead of burned, where a guy is rated by how much he knows, and the community is rated by how well it teaches him. I'm glad I've got a chance to play, batting a ball around once in a while. Stuff like that. I'm glad it's fun, growing up in America.
Sure, baby Janet's too young to understand the big word Thanksgiving. She's too little even to tell us the things that make her happy. But we can tell, and maybe she's thinking about them now. Maybe she's thinking about the fun of splashing around in the tub, and about how good it feels to be clean. About playtime with Mother, and the security she feels in Mother's arms. And as for Mother, seems she's always working, cooking, ironing, tending children, daylight to dark. What does she have to be thankful for?
I am thankful that my children had the privilege of being born safely and of growing up healthy and strong. I'm thankful that I have the privilege of guiding them as they become useful men and women. And I'm thankful for all the things our American system makes possible for the Smiths and the Browns and the Johnsons. For washing machines, hot water out of a tap, and a telephone to call the doctor when one of the family is sick. A car to get Dad to work. Yes, I'm thankful for all the things free people working together can produce. I'm thankful that when my neighbor drops in to borrow a cup of flour, we've got the right to talk about anything we want to. The parent-teacher project, the new mayor, or Jane Jones' hat. And last of all, I'm truly thankful for the peace of mind that Dad's job brings, for knowing that even though there are lots of luxuries we can't afford, there still will always be enough to go around for the things we have to have. I'm glad Dad doesn't work slave hours, that there are evenings and Sundays and vacations when we can all be together.
That's Mother for you, grateful for what America means to her family. And now for me. I've got so many things to be thankful for. I'm thankful for this house. It may need a coat of paint, it has a mortgage, but it's ours, a place where we can be together in privacy. And I'm thankful for the thing that makes this house our home, the happiness here, Not just today or on Christmas morning, but on a day-to-day basis all through the year. For knowing that a knock on our door means nothing to fear. A friend calling, or maybe a bill collector, or a kid selling magazines. You never know what to expect. But you can count on one thing. It's not going to be some political gangster coming to drag one of us off to jail because we believe in freedom. And I'm glad that that freedom we've got lets me choose the kind of work I like and can do best. Taking a sluggish motor and making it hum again. Makes me feel that somebody got to his work, or wherever he had to go, just because of me. And feeling like that gives me a lot of satisfaction. And I'm thankful for my newspaper. Just a few cents worth of printer's ink and paper, but more valuable than any amount of money. Because in it, the editor's got the privilege of printing what he thinks. And I've got the privilege of agreeing with him or not, however the facts strike me. And both of us, the editor and I, have the right to act on our opinions on Election Day, to vote for the principles we believe in. And finally, I'm thankful for being able to believe, in spite of everything, that somehow, someway, the unity we've got here in the Johnson family will someday spread to men and nations throughout the world. For all these things, we are truly and humbly thankful. Amen.
Well, if that doesn't shake your timbers, nothing will. That's America. Don't you let them take it from you. God bless America, Ann Palmer. You bet. You and me. That's right. And I do realize that, AJK. Here's the deal. Don't you let them take it. Don't you let them slip. Don't you let it slip through your fingers, baby. Freedom. You got to want it. So it starts with you. And, you know, you can tell your kids, you can tell your grandkids, you can show them that and say, this is what it was. And your household may look different. And everybody's got their own house and the way their home is. And that's cool. But America is based on freedom. And for every vet, from the very first start of the very first militia, all the way through, for every stripe on that flag, for every star that it bears, long may she wave. I am thankful that I am still here to help you guys fight for that freedom. Wherever you are, make that your goal. If you're in another country, live it here and be grateful for what you have and make the most out of it. And the number one thing, self-respect. Teach your children to respect themselves and to respect others and their freedoms. That's what I have to say. And that's what I'm thankful for, that I am still here to be here in this time. It is going to be a rough couple of months, but mark my words, on the end of it, I'm going to come back here and go, I told you so. Because I think we're going to be okay. But you got to want it. You got to want it. Don't let them steal it from you. Not your vote, not your voice, and not your freedom. I love each and every one of you, and I am grateful to be here tonight to say that. Donnie, what would you like to say?
Well,
70 years, Donnie. I know. We're gonna dance around it, baby. Dance around it. We're already
yeah,
yellow.
I feel weird because I want to give my honest opinion, but
I know. We all know it.
yeah.
Yep. We all know it. And, you know, I think a lot of people here feel that way. The thing is, too, is, you know, other people's freedoms, other people's rights. You know, hey, I wore a uniform to protect those. You know, I mean, I'm not going to get crazy on you or anything like that. Yep. You bet, Bobby. And it's incredible. What a time to be alive, Bob. What a time to be alive. I mean, I'm just like, I'm so psyched. And I know everybody thinks I'm crazy for saying that. You know, I mean, I'm elated. I am elated right now. I am comfy cozy, baby. But the thing is you gotta keep fighting. You know, we let them slip away little at a time, little at a time. I was telling my son, it not too long ago. I remember, you guys know my story, single mom in the 60s, 70s, and not me, my mom raising me. And there was many things. I told you the story about when the encyclopedia guy came to the door, and she was in tears afterwards because she couldn't afford them, and she didn't have the time to, because she had to work all the time, keep a roof over her head. She didn't have time to take me to the library all the time. That's why all my stories about going to the library, I'm always in a hurry. I go in and get my stuff and get out. And I remember when the dentist told my mom I would need braces, which I never got, and I'm glad. But she was upset about that because it was just overwhelming. There was so much she couldn't do. This macaroni and cheese 3 nights a week or whatever. We got through. We were fine. You know, Again, we were like those people. We were poor, but we didn't know we were poor. You felt it every once in a while. It'd smack you in the face. But anyway, I remember her standing in the kitchen and said, "Well." She calmed herself with the thought of, she said, I read in the paper today that they're going to start putting fluoride in the water, so maybe that will help, to keep my teeth. And I'm like, and I'll never forget to stand in the kitchen in Oakhurst, New Jersey, right off Monmouth Road, and my mom saying that, me looking at her, and I was feeling so devastated that yet again she was sad because she had to spend money on me, and I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want to make her sad. And I'm thinking, what is this fluoride that's made her happy all of a sudden? What could that possibly be? And here I am, 50 years later, and I'm going, yeah, get the fluoride out of the water in your toothpaste. Oh, jeez.
Hmm.
It's just.
Can I bring up a comment, Cisco?
Absolutely. Please do.
Be Kind said, I get the wholesome nostalgia of the film. I'm a child of the 50s.
Okay.
However, life was awful for a ton of people in the US then too.
Yep.
And you know what?
Absolutely.
That's very true.
It is true.
And that was my first impression of the film that we just watched. Was that it wasn't really showing what life was actually like in the 50s. It was showing more like what people expected in the 50s.
Yeah.
You know?
But then again, there were a lot of families that were like that. If you go back in the late 40s and 50s after the war, when we were actually treating our vets and, the GI Bill, all this different stuff, one person could go to work. This guy was a mechanic.
Mhm.
One person could go to work and support a family of 4 or 5 and a house
Yeah.
and a car, but you notice it was a modest house. It was one car, and they lived as a tribe. They lived as a unit. One person handled this. One
Well,
person
you know what
handled
was
this.
different back then, Cisco?
What?
They were actually using capitalism back then. Who would have thunk that if you actually use capitalism,
Yeah.
things can work? But
It sure does.
not this fake capitalism that we're operating off of now.
It sure does, Steve. And fluoride and chlorine. Let's not get into all that stuff because that's gases that kill. So get it out of your water. Get a filter. If you can't afford one, build one. There's plenty of YouTube videos on that 5-stage water filter, sand, charcoal, all this other stuff. Whatever you need to do. Even one for your shower head. There's plenty that you can screw in there that'll get the fluoride and chlorine out of your water. You'd be surprised. But the big thing is this: is a person could make it then. And again, there's a lot of course there was, hungry people and there was this, but listen, we didn't let Looney Tunes, walk the streets. You didn't have Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia in the 50s. I guarantee you. You get picked up and you got taken and you got help. Maybe not the best help in the world, but that wasn't going on. You didn't have people peeing in the streets. You didn't have homeless living in the street. If you did, they were at least off where they wanted to be at that point in time. You had a lot of people hopping trains and hobos and things.
But they still had some pretty bad mental asylums back then in the 50s.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it was great. I'm saying it wasn't allowed to go on without some kind of effect. You didn't have people handing out this and that. There was a lot of stuff. This is barely 70 years, people. That's, I know that sounds like it's almost a century, but it's not that long ago. It's not that long ago. So I thought I would show you that anyway, just to let you know I'm grateful that we still have that to a certain degree. You can see it kind of wavering, but this is the deal I want to leave you with on that. You don't know what you got till it's gone. Don't wait that long. Do something. Go to your school board. Go see what your kids are learning in school, or your grandkids. Get involved. Get involved in your neighborhood. Do something, whatever. Start a little community of people that go around and check on the elderly. Whatever you can do. Everybody is different and they know what they can do. Barely a lot of people can't even do for themselves. But you know what? If I have a sandwich and somebody next door is hungry, they can have half my sandwich, you know? I mean, I know that sounds strange, but think about that. How much do we really need? And, what's important and how little can you do without? The other night, I don't know what, I go on these little nostalgia trips every once in a while, but I had never sat and watched the whole movie, The Grapes of Wrath. And when I was sick, I watched, I had that nauseous headache where you can't stand light. You can't, that just leave me alone kind of thing. So I was watching old black and white movies because it didn't hurt my eyes as much on my phone, just so I could stay in bed and chill. And I watched Grapes of Wrath. If you haven't seen The Grapes of Wrath in a while, or you've never seen it, it's on YouTube. I highly suggest you watch it. And it's basically about the Dust Bowl in Oklahoma and what happened to all the sharecroppers there, where they just, they're on the land for 50, 60, 70 years or 100 years. And all of a sudden they decide the owners decide they can't be there anymore, and they're bulldozing homes. Well, the mom of this family was, I believe, one of the best characters in, if you guys know what I'm talking about, I mean, a comment here, if you've seen Grapes of Wrath and you know the character I'm talking about, the mom, there's a scene in there where they have to pack up everything. They got to be gone by the morning. Now she's got herself, her son, played by Jimmy Stewart, who just got out of prison because he was in a bar fight. The guy stuck him with a knife and he hit him with something, killed him. He got 7 years because it was self-defense, which is weird. But he got out in 4, so he's paroled. So the movie starts where he's walking home, and when he gets home, he finds out all this stuff is changing, and they're packing this old truck to leave and go to California because somebody in California has made all these flyers that say there's jobs in California, 800 hired. Well, basically, it's a big scam. You hand out, 10,000 of those things. 5,000 people show up. You hire 800. Now, what's the other people going to do? Henry Fonda. Thank you, Anna. And I always get those two mixed up. Why? I don't know why. But anyhow.
I never read The Grapes of Wrath.
Well, the movie, just watch the movie. It was great. So I'm sure the book was better, but there you go. So, oh, yeah, that's a good idea, Anne. I didn't think about that.
Hey, Sapphire.
Good for you. Yep. Hey, Sapphire. So anyhow, he gets home to find out all this upscunge is going on, and you get the story a little bit. And they go. Okay. And now their families are getting split up along the way because, this person passes or this person takes off because they're scared. And, they're losing a little bit along the way. Very similar to, the Oklahoma Trail where everybody was, when they did the whole carriages going out to California. So they get there and they find out basically that they're basically being treated as slaves. They had all different kind of ranches set up with all these hired, heavyweights with baseball bats and stuff. They tell you that you're going to get a nickel a basket, a bushel or whatever. And, that's one day. And the next day it's 2.5 cents and nobody can make any money off of that. You have to buy everything from the company store. Right now, the prices are real high and they keep you low. They just keep you under. They keep their boot on your back. And it was different ways on how, what goes on with that and, the things that come from there. But it's also what human beings do to each other, what we allow human beings to do to each other. And then in that chaos, just like, what was his name? Won't You Be My Neighbor? Is it Mr. Roberts? It's not Mr. Roberts.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, thank you. Where he tells that story about his mom says, when you see the disaster, look for the helpers. There's also the helpers. So I guess the moral of the story is human beings do shitty things to each other. Bad things happen. But if you persevere and you push through and you don't lose your composure and your will to drive forward, you can push through it and you can get through it because, again, the good is going to prevail in that kind of darkness. And at the very last bit, my favorite character, she's sitting in the room and they're packing to leave the next morning, and all she has, other than what she's wearing and her family, is this little box of treasures that she's collected all her life. Little postcard here, and she's burning what she has to because they have to keep the weight down on the truck. She's got one little pair of dangly earrings, and she holds them up, and you can see just in that look, she looks in the mirror, and you can see all the dreams a young girl had and where she wound up, and these beautiful earrings and the memories that probably went through her mind, which maybe she thought her life was going to be and what it's turning out to be. But there was some nostalgia and some sadness there. But in the end, what prevailed on her face, wonderful actress to do this, what it prevailed on her face was, move forward. She takes them and puts them in her pocket, and the rest of the things she had thrown away. She kept a little cow from a state fair. That character that moment was breathtaking to me, and it made me think about Thanksgiving, and it made me think about all the things that are important. Is your life come down to what's in this little box? Is that what your life is? What's in your driveway? What you're living in? Or is it the things that you've done throughout your life? The legacy you've left behind through friendships and family and love and deeds and things you've done with your hands, whether it's baked cookies or crocheted an Afghan or built a house or a fence or a chair or painted a picture, or you left behind a poem or a song or a good deed. What are you leaving behind? What's your legacy? What is your life? Is it things in a box, or is it things here that you took from your heart and passed to another, and through their heart it became their memory of you? That's what you leave behind. And she's in this truck, and at the very end, she's telling her husband, who looks very tired and very haggard, and they're going on to the next place. And she gives this lovely speech, and she says, it doesn't matter what these people do, what these awful people do. I'm paraphrasing, by the way, don't quote me. This is not word for word. But she says all of these people that they do this, and they try to hold us down, and they try to beat us down, and they try to take us down, and and hold us there, but we can't. They can't do it. Do you know why, Pa? Because we get back up and we keep on driving, we keep on pushing forward, because we're the people. We're the people, and we're going to keep on coming. And that's what I want to leave you tonight. We the people. We're going to keep on coming, because I'm going to pass it on to mine, and they're going to pass it on to theirs. And because I put it in their foundation to be decent human beings, be light bearers, be the helpers. Don't be the herders. Be the givers, not the people that take away. And that's how we win. That's how we win. Grapes of Wrath. What would you like to say, Donnie?
Okay, you know what? I'll tell you what I'm thankful for. I've been sitting here thinking about it.
Okay.
All right. It may sound a bit weird, but the thing that I'm thankful for is to be alive today with all this going on at my age and at my level of understanding. And at the very end of the day, I'm just thankful for being me, because I know it sounds conceited, but hear me out. One of the things I was thinking when I was watching that film on the 1950s was, God damn, life must have been terrible back then. And I'm not talking about for the people in the film. I'm talking about, like, if this film is portraying what life is like supposed to be like, imagine the people who are the losers in society, or the criminals, or the impoverished, or whatever, or whoever, right? Whatever the case may be. I'm thinking, like, even in the best case scenario, I'm still looking at this family and I'm still feeling bad for them, because they're experiencing America when things were good. I am alive now today when I get to see everything going on, and I'm like, oh boy, the shit is about to hit the fan.
Oh
and I
yeah,
get to
big
watch
fan.
it.
Lots of shit.
And I got my bag of popcorn ready, and I'm ready for the show.
Big fan.
And
Lots and lots of shit.
I'm looking at this
Kill 'em with
family of
kindness, Bobby.
1950s, and I'm like, oh man, they missed out on the show. So that's why I suddenly realized I'm thankful for being alive today now,
Me too.
seeing
Me
everything
too.
that's going on,
Yeah.
knowing what
I
I
think
know.
I think we picked it. I think our souls picked it. We were here for this time. We're
Yeah,
here to help each other. This
I'm
is our
ready for the
tribe
show,
here.
people.
And it's around the world. This is global. This is for all, all our people. This is for freedom for everybody. That, this whole thing. My heart goes out to this entire globe. There are people suffering right now that you have no idea. No idea. But the only way we can beat the darkness is with the light. So don't let anybody put your light out. Don't let your candle gets blown out. You just light that sucker again. You keep it lit. Don't you let anybody put your light under a bushel basket. I'm here for the memes. I know what you mean. I was in the meme wars. Yep, I made some dank memes, baby. I was on the front lines. You better believe it. Nope. Now I'm hanging back. Let the youngins take it, and if they need me, I'll jump back in. But I'm telling you right now, do what you can. Do what you can. You know. And so anyway, I wanted to leave you with a little gift tonight. I have another little thing here. I think it's going to be really cute. But I wanted to give you a gift. Now, is there anything I can give you guys that you guys can watch for free? If you have YouTube, you can watch this. If not, find a friend who's got, well, you have YouTube, you're watching me, right? So we're good, right? That common sense. So this is great. See, I just figured that all out. See, right there, live in front of everybody. So, so what I wanted to do, you may have seen these before and maybe not. But I did put the links to the free videos in YouTube. So this week, if you're baking, if you're home, if you're, out, what do they call it, wassailing or, whatever, if you're traveling, and you need something to watch, to get it away from the relatives, go in the back room or something with a plate of dessert. Do yourself a favor and pick one of these and watch them, because I think what watching some of these does, it's not only nostalgic. I don't watch them where it makes me sad. It always invigorates me, you know. Um, yeah, oh, did you, Ann? The first time? Yeah, me too. I remember when it came on. I sure do. On the big Zenith. But all these are free on YouTube with ads, but I told you how to get past that. Go all the way to the end. You let the last little bit of the credits play out. I'm saying it real quiet so YouTube doesn't hear me say this. So don't tell anybody. But you go all the way to the end, let the credits play out to where it's going to play the next video. Then you take your finger and you run that little red line back. It'll go right on through without any of the commercials. So, or just watch commercials and skip them, whatever you want to do. So, this one, it's Patricia O'Neill and Richard Thomas, and I forget who the dad was. Wonderful portrayal. Of course, after they kept most of the kids are the same in the series. I think that Patricia O'Neill and the dad, of course, they replaced them in the series. But this was a wonderful, wonderful all-around movie. It's based, of course, on Christmas, but it really does show you the values of how happy you could be with so little, and that one gift to each one when the dad hands them out. And yeah, thank you. It's true, Jose. Try it. You have to hit it just right. It has to go so far. It has to get to the point where it's just going to go ahead and start rolling the next video, and then you stop it and go back, bring that line back. Oh wow, Anne, that's wonderful. And what a lovely thought. Walton's was playing the evening after. Very cool. Okay, and I can't take credit for that, Jose. Somebody told me, so it's not. I can't take credit for that. But it took me 3 times to try it, so there's me. But so anyway, it's the Homecoming, A Christmas Story. It really tells you how special putting thought into that one gift can be for somebody, spending time, what really matters. Beautiful, beautiful story, beautifully done. So much so that it sparked the series that lasted what I can't remember. What was it? 1974. Yes, and I don't remember how many seasons it was, but Walton's went for a good long time. I would say at least 10 years. I think MASH was the longest. I think that was for a while anyway. Wasn't that like 11 or 12? But that's that one. The next one is a new one I found for you guys. It's called An Old Fashioned Thanksgiving. Again, free on YouTube. The links are in the description. I made sure of it. I did it 15 minutes before the show. That's why I was late. I apologize. But I wanted to make sure they were in here for you. Lovely movie. It kind of has a feel of like Christmas Candle, or kind of sort of maybe Little Women-ish time, but it's not really leaning so much where it's not for guys too. It really is a story of people trying to make it with nothing, and being in fights with family, and how to work through that to find out what's really important. And the time period is absolutely beautiful. All the different characters are very well played out. It's a lovely Thanksgiving movie, and I think it's really going to touch your heart. A lovely, lovely, lovely time spent there. This is one of my favorites, and I remember showing this one to my sons, and they remembered it all their life. Little House on the Prairie, Walton's. Yep. Oh, great. It's good stuff, man. You can create your own environment. You don't have to pay attention to what's going on out there. It comes in, bothers you. So you can just create your environment, right? This is one way to do it. Oh, thank you, Steve. 1972 to 81. That's a good long time. That's a good run, right? Yep. Yeah. That's true. And well, these women are.
I've never even heard of the Waltons.
Yeah, well, you got some watching to do, Donnie. So, none of these women are like that. These are all very, very, very strong women. You're gonna love these women, Aunt Edna. I promise you're gonna love this movie. This is the next one, Aunt Edna. If you haven't seen this, and I'm almost positive you have, every time I watch this, since I've met this chat, I think of you. The next one. And it's when I showed it to my sons, it stuck with them. It is Truman Capote, A Christmas Memory. This book, I got to hand it to Truman on this one. Again, I wasn't thrilled with In Cold Blood, but this one I think was one of his best. And it's a story about this lady here, and this is supposedly young Truman. In the story.
You read In Cold Blood, Sysco?
Oh yeah, and the movie and everything else. It's not that I didn't like the book. I didn't like how Truman was while he was writing the book, and how he treated his friends while he was doing it. That whole thing.
Oh.
But that has nothing to do with this one.
It was more like his character, like what kind of person you found out he was.
How he had become at that point. I wasn't thrilled with how he acted, but then again, who am I?
Yeah.
But this movie here, this lady was kind of sort of an outcast in her family. Everybody kind of treated her like she wasn't all there and all that. Smartest woman in the room, I promise you. The story and the adventure that they go on, and how kind she is, and how thoughtful, and how quirky and fun, and how she made her own fun, and how others treated her. You thought, okay, she's being this way to kind of, because she doesn't feel any of that. No, she's doing that to counteract what she's feeling. And it gets really into her feelings. She's very, very smart, and she's very childlike, yes, but smart too, and very what's the word I'm looking for?
Some of the smartest people are the most childlike, Aunt Edna.
Yeah, very resourceful, very I just loved her heart. And if you have not seen this movie, again, it's on YouTube. All the links are in the thing. I think if you see it, you'll never forget it. And so there's 3 movies for you guys for this week, if you'd like. And then if you do watch them, please let us know next week, and let me know how you like them, because I think you're going to get something out of it. At least it'll warm your heart. It'll give you that nostalgic feeling. You know what I mean? Good night, Fast. Thanks for coming in. It'll give you that nostalgic feeling, and maybe create an atmosphere around you that you want to have. because that's it. Whatever four walls you're in, wherever you are, you can create around you. You know, I mean, come on, man. I've known people that did 10 years in prison, and they didn't let it get into their head. They worked out. They did this. They found things to do. They helped other people with their paperwork. They found a purpose. If we have a purpose and a reason to get up in the morning and make your day bright, different things to put in there, you can pretty much change your atmosphere and your vibration around you. And I think those might help. So there you go. Oh, you're going to love them, Sarah. You're going to absolutely love them. And if you guys find some, share them with us next week when you're going through. There's going to be a couple around Christmas I'm going to share with you too. So there you go. Donnie, do you have any movies like that you saw that you liked, that any kind of nostalgic thing like Christmas or Thanksgiving movies that kind
Here's
of
the
touched
thing
your
about
heart?
me, Cisco. This is just me speaking on myself alone, me personally. I don't have any feelings either way towards any holiday at all.
Really?
It's just me. It's just how my brain works.
Right.
However, I do have plenty of movies that do fill me with the nostalgic feels, but it
Give
was
me
simply
one.
because Dragon, the Bruce Lee story,
Okay.
came out in 1994. It was a Hollywood retelling of like Bruce Lee and his life. But here's the
Right. I
thing.
remember the movie. Yeah. My
I
ex was
recorded
very
it
into Bruce
off
Lee.
TV.
Uh-huh.
I recorded it off TV, and I wore that VHS tape down to the bone. Like I
Yeah.
would watch it every day after school. And you know how when you play VHSs too much, they start getting worse and worse. I wore that thing down to the bone. So every time I see that movie, I think back on that like several month period when I was watching that movie like every day after school. So yeah, I get those movies.
Festivus. Sapphire's is Festivus poll. Festivus for the
But
rest of.
however, there is one Christmas movie where I do. There are a couple Christmas movies that do fill me with nostalgia. A Christmas Story is the biggest one of those.
Ow. Ann's got one. Silent
Yeah.
movies. And Sapphire says, "Oh my God, I still cry watching Dragon."
But my personal favorite Christmas movie of all time for
Mm-hmm.
me is Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Out of all the
Out of
Christmas
out
carols,
of
that's
all
the
the
one, huh?
Christmas movies, that's my favorite. Scrooge.
At least you didn't
You
say
remember
Die
that
Hard.
movie, right? Cisco, you remember that movie?
Oh, honey, yeah.
That
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
good
yeah.
movie. That movie holds up. That movie holds up.
Yep. I like it when she hits him with the toaster. I love all the older Christmas movies. Christmas Story is a fave. Yeah, yeah. The thing is, man, they just about wiped it out. It's a Wonderful Life. I try not to watch it. Yeah, Scrooge is great.
Actually, I enjoyed It's a Wonderful Life. I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, yeah. And you know
Yeah.
that totally bombed when it went into the
Hmm.
theater for a long time until it got pulled back up again. I can't remember what exactly did it, and then it was boom, 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 boom. Yep. Yep.
Oh, Cisco, I don't mean to suddenly shift gears here, but I got to ask you, have you ever seen this movie called Donnie Darko?
I've heard of it, but I've not watched it.
Oh, for the people in the chat. Okay, never mind. Never mind. If you haven't seen it, then never mind.
Nope. All right. Well, my last thing is this, and then we're going to ask a couple questions here in the chat. This won't take long. I just thought, and the second half is silent, so we can talk over it if you want. But I thought you guys would really enjoy this because I guarantee you're not going to see it this year. You didn't see it last year either. Jeez, what a mess that was. Oh, sad to watch. So I don't watch the Macy's Day Parade. And the only reason I watched Macy's Day Parade or did and thought about it so much when I was a kid, and you think about it when you're on guard duty and it's Thanksgiving and you're not home and it's cold, and so many holidays I've done, couldn't be home or whatever for whatever reason. But your mind goes back to those and it misses them because you always miss what you had and it's gone or you can't have or whatever. But the Macy's Day Parade was a big deal for me because that was what my mom had me watch. My mom always watched. It was a big deal for her because she's a floral designer and a window designer, and she did all the big stores and stuff. And you could not decorate for Christmas. This was the rule in the 60s and early 70s. You could not put out anything Christmas until Santa Claus came down the Macy's Day Parade at the very end. And she would go, okay, we're on. That's what she did every year. We're on. Here we go. She knew that was her busy season. That was her time to make money and, do all the decorating and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool. So what I pulled for you, I put together the Macy's Day Parade starting in 1927. And then towards the end, it's got a couple as it goes through. But after that, it gets kind of boring. The beginning is what's the coolest thing. And I thought you guys would get some nostalgic out of it. So I wanted to share. Here we go. Oh no! There it is. Ah! Come on, Foxfire. Look at this. Look at the storefronts. What does that say? Campbell's? This is New York. Look at this. 1927. I don't know how many years. I don't know the history of the Thanksgiving Day Parade. I mean, they give it a little bit on Miracle on 34th Street. Yeah, Aunt Palmer. And they tell a little bit about it. But to us, it was a big deal, and it was something that I watched while my mom made stuffing and made pies, because we usually, when I was old enough to remember, we would go to like my aunt's house or whatever. And this kept me busy. And I'd holler in the kitchen and tell her, here comes Snoopy, or here comes Felix the cat, or she'd run out to see it, or it was a really pretty float. But look at the costumes. Look at the kids, what they're wearing along the side, walking along with. Look at this. Isn't that incredible? Look at this. It's something, isn't it, Donnie?
It's an interesting look back into like time.
I know. And and like I said, here's something, Aunt Edna. Look at this. At least they put us in there. This is almost as bad as William Shatner playing an Apache. Did you see that? Exactly. Had no fucks left to give. That's true, Sapphire. They just had a good time getting together and getting her done. Yeah, it was exciting. Yeah.
I'll be right back. I got a bathroom.
Go ahead, sweetie. Look at this one. Look at I'm going to guess most of this is like paper mache. And look at that. Can you imagine? And building them, the people that built these. Now, these are some of the first balloons. Look at the balloons. I don't know what year this. I think this is 32. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I didn't have time to put all the dates. I just cut a couple and put it. But look at that. What is that? Oh, look, underdog. Superman. Gosh, it was a big deal. There he is, Uncle Sam. It was a big propaganda thing, wasn't it? Yep. Might have, even positive propaganda is propaganda. We want you to join up. Yeah. Look at, there he is. Decorate for Christmas now. Now it's out in 4th of July. Look at that. I've done parades like this when I was a Lancer. I did the big flags. And this is like 70, I think. Back and forth. A bunch of different clips of the, years from like 60 to 70, 80. Look at that. Now what's happened to Macy's? Look at that. Wow. Aw. Go ahead, girls. Kick 'em high. Aw, that's a good Santa. Go, girls. Popeye! Oh, look, Bart. Oh, gosh. I remember that turkey. Bowinkle. Isn't that something? Look at that. Gosh, that brings back memories. My mom used to draw that stuff. When she wasn't a floral designer, she worked in advertising. She used to hand draw. So stuff like that she used to do. This looks painful having your strings through your nose like that. I do not know that character. I had no idea who that was. What you doing, sweetie? You come up and say hi?
Okay, I'm back.
Now, somebody just missed some guy with a big nose. Where's my bear? I had a blanket over me, and they're underneath the blanket, laying on my feet. Sweet babies. Oh, the Sears Christmas catalog was the best. You bet it was. Laying on the floor watching that. I mean, looking through and, you know, your wish list. And that's how parents sometimes found out what you wanted, you know. They'd say, mark a couple things, you know, you never know. Let Santa know. I still believe in Santa Claus. I say
Can I
that, but I
can I
believe
confess
in the
something to you
spirit.
that's been kind of cracking me up all night?
Yeah.
Um,
Look at that balloon.
whenever I talk to Korean people who've either visited America or who lived in America for a while, whenever I ask them what they think about American Thanksgiving, their answer is usually like, "Man, American Thanksgiving sucks." And I'm like, I kind of get why they say it, because in Korea we have Thanksgiving. It's called Chuseok.
Okay.
And the thing is, it's like it lasts for a week.
Oh wow.
So like they're like, Americans only get 1 day off for Thanksgiving. That sucks. And also we have a pig cookout. Like they cook an entire pig. So then Koreans are like, they come to America and they're like, oh, they just have a turkey and they only get 1 day off. Man, American Thanksgiving blows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see looking at it like that, but you know, again, it's what you make it, and I don't think it has anything to do with the food, because here's a blast. You didn't
day
know
off
it.
is important to them, though. It's very
Turkey.
important to them.
Well, it also got moved a lot. You know, Lincoln was one who made it happen, and then it got moved, and then I think it was. Oh, I can see him. Was it? I think it was Roosevelt, wasn't it, who changed it and made it, you know, the last Thursday in November or whatever. But the whole thing about Thanksgiving, ask a Native American about, they basically was just to celebrate the first harvest of the, you know, the Pilgrims in that area. Keep in mind, there was in Florida, there was, you know, an establishment that had been, you know, 20 years, but we only hear about Jamestown and, you know, Plymouth Rock and all this other stuff. There was a lot of other stuff going on, you know, history.
I mean, back then it was an accomplishment, because if you consider where they were trying to plant crops and harvest, they picked a pretty awful spot.
They both picked really shitty spots. I can tell you that right now. But
you're trying to farm in New England. What's wrong with you guys? You know,
and they came in late. They picked bad, you know.
Yeah.
They picked a bad time.
They didn't know what they were doing at all.
Yeah, they had trouble crossing. Yeah, they're a mess. We had to save their ass, and then they, you know, killed 90% of us with their diseases and whatnot. But whatever. So the thing was, it was to celebrate the harvest of the, you know, the Pilgrims. So they brought deer. Okay, there was cranberries, but it wasn't jellied or anything. They just ate the cranberries like they were. There was no turkey. There's no turkey. There was fish, corn, you know, things like that. But and lots of different greens. Go ahead.
So Be Kind said, so anyone else here ever see Plymouth Rock? It's very small. I was like, that's it? Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh, I've
not gone. I've been to Jamestown. I've been on the replicas of the ships and stuff like that. I was amazed at how short they were. The average, most of them were like 4 foot something. I couldn't believe how small the you know, places were, you know, to lay down and stuff like that. It was weird how it was built.
Actually,
but look at this old balloon. Look at that. Oh my gosh.
When I went to the Shanley Hotel the day before, we actually went to the actual bridge in Sleepy Hollow where Ichabod Crane was supposedly attacked by the Headless Horseman.
Right.
I went on the actual bridge, and my first immediate thought, I was like, yo, this bridge is super tiny.
Right.
I thought it was this long thing. It was like 12 feet long.
Yeah.
Over a little creek. I was like, this tiny ass thing. This is the bridge where that happened. I was
most bridges were. I mean, like, you know, something like that. Venison, yeah. I mean, they had deer and stuff like that, but they didn't have turkey, which is, you know, a noble bird. Ben Franklin wanted the turkey as the as the American mascot. It's over the. He argued with Thomas Jefferson and a couple other ones.
Over the
Thomas
bald
Jefferson
eagle.
wanted the dove, I think, for peace, and somebody else wanted the eagle won. I think it was John Adams, because he was obnoxious and disliked, but he was smart and he was a good patriot. So, but yeah, that whole thing. If you don't know that whole story, 1776 pretty much lays that down pretty well. But Ben Franklin did want the turkey because people say they're stupid and they do these different things like they'll lift their heads up and drown in the rain and all that. I've never seen a turkey do that. I've got them in my backyard, come back once in a while. But I'll tell you, Native Americans use more of the turkey feathers than they ever do eagle. It's a noble bird. It's very selfless. Turkeys will actually, like the head bird, like the alpha bird in the pack, will actually sacrifice himself to save the rest of the group of turkeys, just like cardinals and blue jays and some other birds will. That they'll act like
Well,
they're
you know why?
hurt.
Do you know
Yeah.
why people think turkeys are stupid?
Mm.
Because they can't fly.
Propaganda.
No, because they can't fly.
Right.
But
Well, that
I'm like, that's not the
doesn't make
turkey's
any sense.
fault. Blame God for that.
No, they can glide. Like if they jump down, they could glide, but they don't take off. And. But yeah, we found that out from KRP in
People just
Cincinnati.
assume if a bird can't fly, they're stupid for some reason.
Hmm. But they are very self-sacrificing. They're very giving, and that I know this because I had to study it because I was told I had a turkey medicine, and I was allowed to wear turkey feathers as regalia at a powwow, whatever. But I've got turkey medicine and buzzard medicine, which sounds awful, but it's really good if you look into it. But yeah, turkeys get a bad rap. But that's the thing, like in that film that we saw, the dad said no turkey. A lot of families might not have turkey this year. I've had plenty of Thanksgivings and Christmases and stuff that were really tight, but we made it. We made it different. And I think you'll see in those movies and in some of the other things, and I'm sure a lot of you do, that it is what you make it. Do something special, whether it's making stuff or I sent Be Kind some little pretty cards today, and I saw your message that you made them before. I didn't know if you had or not, but I thought it was so cute. Like if I used to do it, I'm like, no, I'm not making, no, I'm not getting it. I'm not doing it. I'm not starting it again. And then I thought about, well, I got that paper. I'm like, no. I'll probably wind up making a couple.
Actually,
But
you know what? For a while,
you do
for a second there, Cisco, I started feeling bad for turkeys because of what you were saying and then what we were talking about. But then I was like thinking, wait a minute. There was a point in our natural history when turkeys used to like actively predate on us. So I'm like, nah, screw them. The terror birds, they were basically the prehistoric version of a giant turkey, and they used to
Yeah.
actively hunt people. They've
Yeah.
actually found human bones in their layers,
Incredible.
and they would like
Well, I
hunt
think a
down
lot of
kids
big
and
things
stuff.
did.
And I was like, they were basically giant turkeys. I was like, no, wait a minute. Turkeys used to they used to show us no mercy, and they used to actively hunt us. So you know what? Thanksgiving, yay.
Oh, absolutely. Be kind. I would a lit candle and something like that. That would have to be one of those tea lights. And those tea lights, they need to make those things a little brighter. You know what I mean? Those little battery operated tea lights. They've got some good ones out
Actually,
there.
Bob McKinley, I actually learned this not too long ago. When you look at turkeys and chickens, like they can sort of fly, right? The birds
Well,
that can
that's
sort of fly.
yeah.
The reason why
That's
they
right,
can sort
Bobby.
of fly is because it actually helps them at climbing trees. If you ever see a chicken climb a tree, they're really good at it.
Saw a chipmunk climb a tree. Absolutely knocked me on my ass. I could not believe it, and I don't know why I never thought about it. But I'm laying. I got a bird feeder. I think I told you this story.
Yeah.
Chipmunks in the teacups and stuff.
It's
But when I
basically like
saw
a
him
mini, like a squirrel.
climb the tree,
Yeah.
I know, but I don't know why it blew my mind. I just never thought about it. I'm like, that's a chipmunk. It tripped me out. It's just funny when you don't think about something and you see it in a different light, or you see it, you just never thought about it. It tripped me out. But you're never too old to learn, right? I mean, if you had asked me point blank, do you think a chipmunk could climb a tree? I would say, sure, why not? A mouse probably could. but I just never thought about it, and it just surprised me when I saw it. And then he jumped. Man, they're jumpers. They're good jumpers. Fast little boogers. I still say they got the idea from the exclamation point from a chipmunk's tail, but I could be, or a cat, one of the
There
two.
is
Is
when we're talking about like predatory birds now. There is an awful kind of
that what
weird,
we're talking about?
creepy, cold, like if you ever look in the eyes of a predatory bird and see the way they just like they're just so cold sometimes. I don't know. If you ever watch those like animal documentaries of, for
Nope,
example,
I don't
like
watch them.
have you ever seen eagles? Like some of the stuff they do, like knocking those mountain goats off the mountains and then just come flying down and eat them. I'm like, man, that's cold.
Yep.
Birds
I
are
try not to
cold.
watch them. I grew up with Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, and it absolutely tore me up. You got a
Oh,
cold nose. Where you been? Say hi,
yeah.
Spirit.
Some of those videos get pretty gnarly.
There's your brother. Go chew on your brother. There you go. Their teeth are so sharp, it's not even funny. It's like shark teeth. And I think every time they go to sleep, they get bigger. They're amazing. It's going to go so fast. That's why I keep showing you guys, because you're going to watch them grow. And pretty soon they're just going to be, everywhere I go, that's where they are. It's unbelievable. It's like Dickens set this up. Somehow, I think he manipulated me into getting two. And I could almost, if cats could laugh, you could almost hear Dickens laughing right now. It's like, okay, here you go. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. We're gonna get we lost Donnie. There he is. We're gonna get Rob Guttrow on here. I've been talking to him a little bit,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna tell you. Yeah, he's gonna come on soon. And his new book is
Bob is a great guy.
Cat Spirits. Oh, I love him. And we'll have a good visit. You come on with, okay, Donnie?
I had the pleasure of actually having breakfast with him at the Holly House or the
Yeah.
Hoover House and actually like sitting there picking his brain over a cup of coffee. It was fascinating. It was one of the
Oh, I bet.
most
Oh,
interesting
well, we get him
conversations
on.
I ever had with another
You'll
person.
come. You'll come on too. You'll be here too, because he's,
That was
him
a
and I are
great little
talking. And
interesting conversation.
I say, give me a little time, or else the whole 2 hours will just be me crying, because everything is just so, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But he's a trip. But he would tell you the animal spirits do set stuff up like that, and so do your loved ones. If you ever wonder, like, if your mom or dad or grandma set you up with that guy, or manipulated things so you'd meet, and you get this odd feeling. They do that a lot, and so do your animal spirits. They absolutely do. So, yeah, I think so. So, listen, I promised you guys we're 20 minutes, like we're really, slaves to time on this show. But I wanted to kind of keep it around 10 o'clock or so, because I'm going to get hoarse real quick. But if you guys had any questions, or if you had a topic you guys ever wanted to ask me and Donnie what we thought about, whether it's paranormal, supernatural, whatever, hit us now. Like Donnie says, put it in caps. If there was something like you wanted to, know about, or if there's something that you wanted to put out there about Thanksgiving, if it's something special you're doing that you want to share with us, that's, making you feel
People are
better,
talking
let us know.
biblical stuff. We're getting biblical
Where?
in the chat.
Binocular vision.
They're
Let's
talking about
see.
like
Super smart. Angelic human-like spirits, or usurpers of the old serpent gods. Okay.
I don't know, like
Crows are actually. Oh yes. Oh my God, crows are so smart. And again, they're part of my medicine. So all around work for like 2 weeks, I do Miss Murray. She's just real busy in the morning. She's doing classes and stuff, so she can't stay up
oh yeah,
this late.
I talked to her just not too long ago. She's
Yeah,
actually
she's
been busy with
wonderful.
school. She's got to
Yeah,
have. She needs. She basically said it like this: now that I'm like going to school full time, I need an actual normal sleeping schedule.
Mhm.
Because I
I
mean,
don't blame her.
come on, we've all noticed.
Yeah,
You notice what some of the shows she's on, where you're like, damn girl, don't you get some sleep?
it's like
Get some
4 o'clock
sleep.
in the morning where
Yeah,
you are. Yeah.
yeah.
I miss what I do. I miss Marie, but she is doing great. She's just as beautiful
Yeah,
as
she's
ever.
just, busy with
Hmm.
school.
A
She's doing
murder of
all
crows.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, the crows. People think this and that and everything else. I believe that not any one thing is wrong or right. Like all wisdom is not found in one place. But I kind of go with the crows how I feel, and I know I'm real connected to them because not only the buzzard medicine, which they're corvids, so corvids are all part of that. And 2 weeks at my work, they're gathering. There must have been, I'm not exaggerating, there had to be 200-300 crows. Started out with 2 or 3. I had this one that followed me from work, just like Blue, says that, they will follow you. I work less than a mile from where they follow me to the store. And then all of a sudden I'd look up and there'd be 50 or 60. And I'm like, what? And we're going to buy bags of cat food and other things, to feed because they love that. And I'm standing at work and my boss is standing next to me. I said, somebody's going to pass. They're here to tell us this. Somebody is going to pass. And I just looked up and I went, it's somebody I know, isn't it? I mean, I knew it. I didn't tell anybody else. I just knew. And they gathered. And the last day I was there, I looked up and there had to be 300 of them. And I said, all right, guys, I got you. I know who it is. And message received. I said, carry him over. And that was Mr. Dickens, So, and now, and only the 3 that normally are here have come back since then, back and forth. Of course, a lot of them migrate and stuff like that. But yeah, so believe in the myths. They are true. And if anybody's got any questions or you got a thing, like if you ever wanted to know, like
something someone said in the chat.
Like, what do you think about? Sure, go ahead.
Hold on, I just lost it. Oh shoot, I just lost it.
Okay, here we
go. Sapphire Elf said, birds come from the dromaeosaur clade of dinosaurs. Pterosaurs were not birds or dinosaurs. Okay, first of all, I didn't say pterosaurs. I said terror birds.
Terror birds.
Pterosaurs, P-T-E-R, pterosaurs were not birds or dinosaurs. He's correct on that. They were actually flying reptiles. Reptiles and dinosaurs were not the same thing. I've had to correct so many people on that. It's ridiculous.
I don't know nothing about no dinosaurs. All I know is that for years they taught us one thing in all the school books, and then they came back and said that they made up half of it, and most of it was chicken bones and filling in spots, and half the dinosaurs bones they found they put together wrong or some other kind of mess. I don't know. I tend to not believe anything I'm taught.
Easy. It's not easy.
Baby.
It's not easy what they do.
No, well, I can tell you right now, they got more interesting stuff in their basement. You want to say hi? Your brother said hi. It's bright up here. Say hi, Bucifus. Okay, go chew on your brother. Go get him.
And now people say the Scottish flag has a unicorn on it and a troll. Huh. I don't know. Scottish flag has a unicorn.
I don't know the Scottish. I should.
Okay,
I know
I'm
my.
just talking in general, Donnie. I was just vibing on things you were saying, not attempting to correct you. Just brought relevant info. Yes, Sapphire Elf. I am invincible to being corrected. Ho, ho, ho. I am the incorrectable one.
I tell him to stop and he stops.
No, I'm just muffing what you do.
Yeah.
All good,
no, we're all good. We're all good. So does anybody have any Thanksgiving traditions or anything like that, or a favorite movie you think we should watch? There's one I'm looking for. I've been looking for it since last year for you guys, and it's this wonderful one about it's got ghosts and it's a great Christmas story. If I can find it, I'm gonna find a way to show it to you guys. Maybe we can watch it together. But just a fantastic old movie, an old black and white. I just love those sometimes. Like I said, just watch Grapes of Wrath. I'm looking for another one. Sometimes you just need to take a break from what's going on outside. Here's how I do it. I do everything I possibly can to help control and stabilize my situation. And then I go kind of like that old poem, God grant me the wisdom to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Can you do anything about it? Is there something you can do to better your situation? Is there somebody else? We have a situation now where here in New Jersey, I mean, everything's gotten so high, and I can't imagine having to pay for an apartment by yourself. I think it's like around A studio or a one bedroom has got to be over $2,000 a month now. A
Oh,
shitty one.
it's like that here in
Yeah.
Maryland. It's exactly like that here. Same
So
thing.
all of a sudden you lose a roommate. How are you going to make it? And then you got to get another roommate that you trust or whatever. So I think we're starting to get into those times where, we've got to start getting back to that unit, that tribe, that, group of people that are together or, trying to help each other out. I think we need to lose these stigmas of, like mom is living with the son or mom is back, in the house or you still live with your parents or whatever. Screw that. Stop all the stigmas. And if somebody says something to you about it, tell them it's none of their damn business. You understand? I'm sitting in a neighborhood right now across the street from me. Well, she did live alone till her sister moved in with her. Now they're doing good. There's a single lady in the house next to me, a single lady on the corner, a single lady next to her, a single guy next to there. They're all living in these houses by themselves. And I think, it's serenity prayer. Thank you, be kind. Yes. And, you know, it's getting a little crazy. And you got these people, and I've got them in my family. Trust me, all my people got them. I'm the black sheep. I'm the one who doesn't want any of that stuff. I cannot
Oh,
understand
I'm the
people who
exact
say,
same way. I'm the only one in my family who isn't rich.
oh my God. Well, and
Yeah.
I don't want to be because I wouldn't be. I couldn't be. Do you see what I'm saying? I couldn't be because I'd be doing for other people who could. I cannot imagine spending $5,000 on a purse. And I've had people in my family pulling stuff out of the closet, showing me like I'm supposed to be excited about this, and I want to vomit. I'm like, and all I'm thinking is, do you know how many families I could help with that? Do you know what I could do with that money? Do you have any idea what I could turn that into? It makes me sick. You know, oh, good for you, Vixen. Oh gosh, that's great, honey. Oh, that's awesome. And I'm trying to show somebody in my family. I'm like, okay, look, you're in Jersey. We have an exit tax too. So if you sell your house in New Jersey and you leave within a year, you're going to get, basically they call it an exit tax, but you're fined. Because they want to get all the money in Jersey. And I know there's other states just as bad. But so my brother, well, I'm not going to say that. So anyway, sometimes it's cheaper to sell your house, stay, and then go because it's just
Damn,
cheaper.
Sapphire Elf, you were a blacksmith, really? An
Oh
actual
yeah, we got to
blacksmith?
talk about that, Sapphire. When you get better, we're going to get some iron
You're like
cuffs.
a literal blacksmith?
Just
Really?
all I want, Sapphire, is just like the old horseshoe nails. You know what I'm talking about? The good old, real old fashioned nails. Something similar to that, but just bent into
Wait,
bracelet.
hold on. Dude, can you make me a sword?
He said, well,
Can you make me a sword, dude?
he said he's convalescing after a car accident, if I remember
Oh,
correctly. So he's taking a break from that. And swords
can I
aren't
get a
made
custom
out of.
sword?
That's demasking, honey. That's a whole different thing other than
Oh,
blacksmithing.
you know
You
that's
can,
the only
you
thing I
can,
want. That's the
you
only thing
can.
I want in life. I'm not a luxury, like you said earlier, right, Cisco? I don't want a $5,000 bag. I don't get it, right? I'm the same way. I don't get it.
You
I want
would
like a custom
absolutely
sword though.
rip if you saw my friend's sword, the ninja.
Yeah, I want a sword. I want a good
Shocked
sword.
at the swords that are on his and the provenance of those swords that are on his wall. You'd be shocked. Uh, oh, you do? You do make swords? See, some blacksmiths just deal with, and then some are all around. So we went through a lot of different demasking when we went through the in the
I'll take a knife. I'll take a custom knife too.
natives. They were showing my sons how to make swords and stuff like that too. And yeah, we'll talk to them. Don't cross swords. But yeah, when you get to feel better, honey, we'll get you busy. Okay? Sounds good. All right. So, if does anybody have any questions on paranormal stuff or a subject that we haven't hit yet? Donnie, do you want to tell them what we're working on for possibly next week? I don't want to push it for next week, and I'm also working on one for Steve and I tomorrow night, and I might have to get with him and tell him. I don't know if
Um,
I have all the research done yet because I was just so.
honestly, I think you would do a better job of introducing that, Cisco, because
Well, my question was, do you think you want to yet? Because what I don't want to do is put a lot of research on you when you're real busy last week and this week just getting started doing things, if you know what I mean. So I wanted to give you one little piece to look at and then I'll do the rest, if that was cool.
Yeah, that's fine. That's yeah.
Okay.
Very fine.
So what we're going to shoot for doing, at least start for next Sunday, because I think this might be a two-parter. I'm not sure, but I think it very well might
Oh,
be.
I didn't know this. Oh, we're doing a two-parter on this one. Oh, I
Could
should
very
really
well
start
be.
researching then.
Well, the thing is that I don't want you to get any books or anything like that because each
No
book is
books. No
different.
books. Yeah, yeah.
No, each book is different, and it's gonna. And they take it very much like the Bonnie and Clyde. It goes into all these different directions, and one person says one thing, and somebody ran with it, and they twisted it and threw it all up in the air. And I really want to get down to the heart of the matter. And I have cat fur all over my face right now. Oh, but and it's fine. It just it tickles. But we're going to do the Lizzie Borden case. Bum bum. And I can tell you right now, there's not one word in that poem that's correct. You know what I mean? And that's the only hint I'm going to give you.
I mean, I didn't.
But I'm digging, and I did do a lot of research. That I've been literally, I was in bed for 3 days. We were so sick. It was some kind of stomach thing, and my immune system is so compromised because of the spider bites and stuff. It really depleted my bone marrow bad, and I didn't get it as bad because I was doing my herbs and stuff like that. But I ran it through real fast. Other people I know that have had it, it took week, like a week, and they're still feeling effects. So, but nauseous headache was terrible. But oh, somebody won a Grey Cup. The who? The Toronto Argonauts just won the Grey Cup, Canada's version of the Super Bowl. Well, wonderful. Congratulations. Are you kidding me? I hope you had money on the game or whatever. Going to have the Lizzie Borden in for that. She hasn't, I DM'd her, but I got no response. I am seeing, there's a couple of people I'd like to get on, like later on, to come talk about. But I'm really digging into this one again because, like I said, I'm not doing stories on actual events and then just regurgitating the same garbage. A lot of what you're hearing about Lizzie Borden and everything else, there's everybody's got an opinion. And you can have an opinion about what you think might have happened, but where are the facts and what's the evidence? And there's something else that went on, and there's other things that have gone on. And I really want to bring this whole thing to you guys and have you decide and give you what I can, dig up as far as facts. And it's really, once I started digging, I went down that rabbit hole. I found out it had a couple of hard lefts in it, and and some surprising turns. And I wasn't able to ask Donnie for help last week. I didn't want to bother him because of his hand and everything else. So I'm gonna get with him after the show, maybe tomorrow or tonight. We'll talk about it. But I want to give you guys a good presentation on it, and then just like everything else we've done, Donnie, let's just bring in the truth as best as we can find, on the whole thing. And, you know, uh, I can tell you right now, one of the first things I can tell you wasn't an axe, it was a hatchet, at best. Okay. So, let's look forward to, let's look forward to that. And, and, I've got some other ideas. Donnie's got some great ideas. Steve's got some great ideas. I got some great guests coming up. It's just been really so unsure. The future is so unsure, and the things that I have to do. And this is again another busy season. All next week, I'm going to be extremely busy with doing Thanksgiving centerpieces for your lovely table, and stick and taper candles and anything that'll hold a flower. I assure you. Yes, people still order those. I'm in New Jersey. There's a lot of, old Italian families and everything else, and yep. Lizzie Borden, the legend, the myth, the facts. That's the name. Be Kind just named it. There you go. The facts. And that's it. How many facts do we actually have? And how much here, I'll give you a hint. of how these things go. In the movie Highwaymen, last week we did Bonnie and Clyde. In the movie Highwaymen, they said a little something back and forth between them while they were waiting on Bonnie and Clyde, trying to figure if Bonnie and Clyde were coming in to visit her family for Easter. She had a little white bunny she was going to give her mom, which they did get into her, by the way. Even though they had supposedly 1,000 men all around, they got in. Clyde was something. So they had said they knew they were going to come in because somebody had said that Mama was making, what was it? Something in beans. Was it? I can't remember whether it was. It wasn't collards and beans. It was something else, and that was supposedly a code. Well, that there very well may have been codes, and there very well may have been stuff like that. Beef stew for Sunday over at the Barrows. That could be possible, but that whole thing was made up out of thin air by a woman who wrote a book in 1942 and just made up half of it. And then every other author after that went off of that book, put that in it, never happened, was never done. So little things like that, some things were twisted and made into lies, and some things were just made up out of whole cloth. And in a lot of ways, Lizzie Borden's the same. And I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie with Elizabeth Montgomery, who played Lizzie Borden. She did a wonderful job, by the way. Elizabeth Montgomery was a trip back in the day, and she was a good actress, and she was typecast as Bewitched, so it was hard for her to get stuff. She was a very what do you want to call it? Devoted actress. And the last thing she did, she made, I forget what movie it was that she was doing, but she worked that whole thing with terrible, terrible stomach pains. Did not the Lizzie Borden one, a later movie. And then everybody on the set that worked with her said she never complained. They caught her a couple times in her dressing room, doubled over and in pain with tears rolling down her face, whatever. She had fourth stage, whatever, stomach cancer. She died right after that and never complained, never told anybody. She's an extremely private woman and very, very headstrong and strong. And she had a lot of true grit, that woman. She really did. Hello, Empowered Angel. Welcome in. And love that version of Lizzie Borden, right? And then here later they've done that mini series with what's her face and really twisted it around, and Penny Dreadful, all that kind of stuff. She's been in cartoons and she's in bobbleheads, and you can go to the bed and breakfast and eat the mutton and sleep in the room, and I'm sorry.
Also the fact that the house where it all happened is one of the most paranormally investigated places of all time.
Which is terrible.
All the paranormal investigators that have gone through there over the years.
Mm-hmm. And Amy went through there and said it needs to stop.
Yeah.
This is just you're torturing these
Ouija boards everywhere.
Yeah, horrible. You know how I feel about that, guys. I just think that it's just ghost abuse, spirit abuse. It's just and the hatchet key rings and stuff. I don't know. I just don't think death is funny, and I don't think I know what happens when you keep talking, calling a spirit back, or messing with a ghost and things like that. And it's not good. It's not right. But yeah, I mean, we're going to talk all about that, and we're going to get it all out there. And Steve and I will be here tomorrow night, and we might be just doing a freestyle too, because when I do these with all the videos and stuff like that, it takes so much time, and I just couldn't look at stuff to be able to work with it. So I'm kind of backed up now, and now I have a busy week coming with all these Fall River, Missouri, right? Massachusetts. I'm sorry, Massachusetts. So we're going to do that. We're going to try to do a good job for you and get it out there, and it'll be part of one of our series, our epic series of digging and giving you guys the truth and letting you come to your conclusion. Nobody should shove stuff down your throat. I mean, we didn't even do that with McDonald. I left you with what I still think he did it. I can't wrap my head around remote viewing, but I'm telling you, I went with the Freddy.
I don't think so.
You don't think he did it?
But I respect your opinion, but I
Yeah.
disagree.
Okay. That's cool. I don't like his eyes. It's like you're gonna have to do a lot. There's something about those eyes, man. But and that would be a shame if he was accused. And I can't think of anything worse. If you're accused of something that I wouldn't want to be accused of something I didn't do. Yeah, let him rest in peace. But yeah, they're gonna pay for it. I think it all the time. I was telling this one guy, he was kind of jerky, and he's real arrogant about it. He didn't believe too much about this or that, or he didn't have any of that heart, or he just wanted to get that. He wanted to get that shot. He wanted to get that evidence, and he wanted to get a show, and he wanted to be. And I'm more like with Mike Laciana and that kind of ilk that says I'd like to see shows that are more about the history and the ghosts and the people that live there and all that. A show that is that, not this about the people in the show, that are the stars and all this other stuff. And I get that, and I get people got to make money. But again, this guy was coming off kind of arrogant and everything else. And I said, well, let me tell you something, honey. I said, I've been in this for a long time. And you can sit here and you can say whatever you want, and you can feel real strong and bold and feel like you're in charge. When you cross over, guess who's going to meet you? Because now you're in their territory. I said, that's like standing on the beach and making fun of the sharks and then being so arrogant you get in a boat, the boat sinks, and now you're
Hey,
in their water.
Cisco,
That's what's going to happen.
can I bring up this comment in the chat
Yeah,
real quick
please
to
do.
you?
Yeah.
Sapphire Elf says, I don't know why people want to move ghosts on. They don't need our help. If one is being a fucko, I'll engage with it and tell it right, like, get out of here. My conviction is strong enough.
Okay, hang on, I gotta get this.
Bring them to a Blackstone and give to the ocean god. Once the rock erodes, you're free, but you're in time out low. Okay, real quick.
They do need your help.
No, I get where you're coming from, Sapphire. I get it, right? Because there are certain ghosts that do screw with people, and they don't deserve any sympathy at all. Right?
No, well, if they were an asshole in life, they're an asshole.
Yeah, if they're being an asshole to people, then yeah, they don't deserve any sympathy. So I get that.
But here's
sentiment.
the deal.
Yeah.
I agree. I respect your opinion. I respect your right to choice, and of course, it's free will, but it's also theirs. So if you get with a ghost and say this ghost is a troublemaker or whatever, how do you know it's just not a troubled soul that's been trying so hard to get attention, and then after time just gets caught up in this energy, static, and you're very misunderstood. Yeah. Yeah. To me, it's more like therapy. It's okay. Here's the deal. If I saw, oh gosh, I was just thinking about a story. I don't know why I thought about that. I was in 4th grade, 5th grade, and I remember this girl getting teased in the locker room. We had changed for gym. And I was wondering why she was reacting the way she did. She wasn't reacting the way I would have reacted. And she wasn't, you know what I mean? She looked very like she was just, make it stop, make it stop. She was like almost like trying to will herself to be invisible. It's very much like the scene from Carrie. She wasn't getting stuff thrown at her, but it was like when the girls, when people gang up on people like that. And I've often thought of ghosts that way. In some cases, even the ones that just filter through and flit around, there's all different stages of being a ghost, and different types. But the ones that are intelligent, that are somewhat aware of their surroundings and somewhat aware of what's going on, even though they don't completely understand it, they need your help. And it could happen to you, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying I always thought that if it was someone I loved, to me, I always look at them, just like Hans Holzer said, they're just human beings in need of help. And
I'll
I
be
believe
right back.
we are somewhat responsible. Okay, we are somewhat responsible for each other. You know, no more would I walk by someone, even to this day, um, who I saw walking and tripped and fell in the road. I wouldn't even hesitate to run up and help them up. I don't understand these people in certain cities who can just walk over bodies in the street. But again, this is what they're conditioned to do because now, they don't know whether they're dealing with what they're dealing with. So everybody has been, this is why it's happening. They want you scared to help each other and just mind your own business and keep your head down and keep 6 feet apart and don't look at your phone and just go to work and pay your taxes and shut up. And that we're not meant to live like that. We're not meant to live like that. That's why you're unsettled. You feel me? This is why you're unsettled. This is why your human spirit feels like something is off, because something is off. 70 years ago, 1952. I understand everything Donnie said about how he felt, but what I'm looking at is I don't care if that's a family of two, an old aunt and a young aunt, or somebody like, in this Christmas memory where, four sisters lived together, and, this nephew used to come and spend, the holiday with them or whatever. Families all have different faces. Family have different sizes and kinds and makeups and whatever, you know. I was raised all the way through that, your unit, your friends, your people that you're with, that's your family, you know. It doesn't matter. The point is in 1952, one person could go to work, afford to buy a house, feed a family, and yeah, it got tight. They couldn't afford a turkey for that Thanksgiving, but they were grateful for what they had. They had a roof over their head, they were clean, they had each other. And we got to get back to that. You matter more to me than that car. You matter more to me than that fancy whatever it is, you know? And I think they got us to start getting so materialized. And I got to keep up with the Joneses. And if I don't have a career and four kids and high heels and look good doing it, I'm not an all around woman. Well, let me tell you something. Those uh, old granny witches, that said that they weren't peaches and they weren't fragile, they had the magic. They had the magic of knowledge and hope and care. And they wouldn't have thought twice if somebody had said, hey, so and so down the hill in that family over there, somebody is sick. Not only would they grab up everything they had and gone down there to help them, but they would have made a pot of stew to bring and feed the family too. And their family would have chipped in while they went down there to help that family. You see what I mean? That's an all around woman to me. All around woman to me is the woman that was riding in that truck and trying on those earrings and packed up her family and held that family together when everybody was ready to give up. She had just the right words to pick them back up, dust them off, and get them moving again, and give them a motivation and a love and a reason to get up and do it. This
Who
is
is
an all
this?
around woman.
Who is this?
I'm just saying, this was different movies and stuff that,
Oh,
all around. But that's the thing. It's not about trying to get that family. It's about what they were thankful. The kid was thankful he could get a library card and go and read books for free. He didn't have to spend $25 a book, or go order it on Amazon and pay shipping. He could go to the library and read them for free. You can do it today somehow, and for a lot of people, that's not good enough. You see, you can go and get movies. You can do whatever. I can't tell you how many times we've lived off of that. I homeschooled. I needed all the help I got. We
oh,
went to
you're
the
talking about
library
that kid
twice a week.
in
Yeah,
that '50s film who
what
was
people
like,
were
"I'm so
grateful.
thankful for being able to go to the library and being able to
Yep.
get the works of like Hemingway." He mentioned, I was like, "Oh, little boy,
Yeah.
you're reading Hemingway?
Isn't
Oh,
that
kind of
great?
advanced."
Yeah. And they
You
take
know,
you away.
actually, you know, I gotta confess something, Cisco. I had a really Donny Cho thought going in my brain during that whole time.
I'm sure you did, Donnie.
I was like, that poor little sucker. He has not experienced Nintendo. That poor child. He's gonna go through his whole childhood
Tell you
without
something.
experiencing Super Mario Bros.
I hate, as you said to me on this show several times, I hate to pop your balloon, baby, but that kid was better off not having Nintendo, I assure you. He was better with
Mm-mm.
Hemingway. He was better with
This is
Hemingway.
where you and I disagree.
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
look what it's done. Look what it's done. You know, it's made a couple of good shooters, but I think it has caused some issues. And believe
all I
me, as a mother, I went round and round and round with my kids on that. You know, but I made a thing where we sat down, we talked about it, we were careful what but still, I know it's never approved. You know, I mean, I think one was playing Metal Gear Solid, and the other one was more into Mortal Kombat. But I drew a line at Grand Theft Auto. It's like it's a really
what?
cool game. I'm like, you're killing hookers. Tell
No,
me what.
Grand Theft Auto was a spiritually enlightening experience for me, Cisco. What
So
are you
is my
talking
foot up
about?
their ass.
What are you talking about? Grand Theft Auto like
No,
altered my view on reality. It was like
nope.
one of the deepest, most
Draw
philosophically
the line.
satisfying. Oh,
Draw the
Cisco.
line.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
Cisco, you have a very wrong idea of Grand Theft Auto. I have to
Listen,
respectfully
my
disagree with your
son
view.
was my son was 9, and I said no,
As
Mr.
a
Cho.
video game connoisseur and expert, I don't claim to be an expert on many
As an
things.
as an expert mother, I
As an
assure you.
expert video
And
game,
if you had come to my door and tried to give my son Grand Theft Auto, it would have been he would have bounced. But that's just that. That's then. You're talking about a 9-year-old, buddy. You see what I'm
no,
saying?
see, no, Cisco, you're seeing it totally the wrong way, though. I have to respectfully disagree. You're seeing it totally the wrong way. Okay, can I explain something about Grand Theft Auto to you?
Can I
The
explain
whole I
something about being a mother to you?
Sure.
I said no.
Okay.
That's it. You make lines, you make boundaries, and they stay within the boundaries. If they don't make boundaries, you pick. Why do you want to play this game? What's important to you? Tell me.
Hmm.
As a 9-year-old, what are we learning from this? What are we doing in this game?
Hmm.
First of all, the name of the game is Grand Theft Auto. Why are we
Hmm.
glorifying stealing? What am I doing? I'm raising 2 men to go out into this world with a good base. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. I don't care
Okay.
what it does. I don't
Okay.
care. I don't care
Cool.
how many it's made.
Cool.
So Resident Evil took a little bit longer to come in, but as
Okay.
I'm sitting there watching that, I'm going, why are they trying to get us to shoot other human beings in the head? I don't care that they have a disease, it's a human being. And I'll tell you something. The thing that connected that with me was with um, the Night of the Living Dead that was done in black and white. Again, I'm not thrilled with the movie, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Each time somebody had to shoot somebody, they knew it affected them. By the time we got up to, Walking Dead and things like that in different games, it gets to be desensitizing. And as somebody who is in the military, I can tell you that that's a program. All of it's been a program.
Hmm.
So I have to, as a parent, you've got to look at things differently like that. And I respectfully disagree with you. I don't know the game, but here's the thing: when
Hmm.
I researched it at the time, I made the decision, and they made choices, and they had to tell me why they were making the choices. And I was extremely, I'm not going to say strict. I was pretty wide open. I mean, my son watched Freddie at like 5 or 6, but I was sitting right there with him. But I wouldn't let him watch other stuff. I was careful, but I wasn't to the point of keep them in the closet just so they can run next door and go watch everything I won't let them watch.
Hmm.
They knew why I said no.
Hmm.
We talked about it, and I didn't like that game. First of all, you're stealing cars.
Okay, now may I now
Sure,
rebut what you have
sure.
just said?
Go
Okay.
ahead. As a mom, I can't wait to hear what you got to say.
Well, here's the thing as a someone who knows video games. The thing that bothers me is not so much the idea or the notion of protecting your child from such ideas. The thing that bothers me is the fact that you see GTA as a game about killing hookers. And the fact that someone would say this is a game about killing hookers clearly states to me that they didn't even bother to even try to even
Oh,
understand
I
what the
went
game is
through the whole
actually
thing.
about.
I went through the
Really?
whole thing.
Because
I
it
went through.
tells me they're not actually.
Yeah, but
The
I'm not
way
going to.
the way the way it is, you just defined it as it's a game about killing hookers. No, it's not. It is not at all.
Okay,
The
then take
game
that part out. What's the game about, Donnie?
the game is basically hookers can be killed, but that's totally incidental. Any character can be killed. That's
Right.
not the point about that. That
Okay.
doesn't mean the point of the game is just killing these people. The whole point of the game about GTA is to force people to examine, like, if you just live this way, here are the consequences. Like, you can do this, but you don't advance. You just become an
Right.
idiot and you're gonna die.
Hmm.
But to advance and to advance in the story, in the game, in the way the developers and designers intended it for it, is
Hmm.
to like examine, because one of the characters, you're a family man.
Hmm.
It's got three protagonists. One of the main protagonists, he's a guy with a family, a wife and the kids, and
Hmm.
he's got to do this game, meanwhile trying to hide the fact that he's got a wife and kids at home and he's still trying to be a good father to them.
Okay.
You got another character who's basically like born in the ghetto. And so when someone just says, "Oh, GTA is about killing hookers," to me it's like, no, you totally missed the point. You've totally
Okay.
missed it.
Well, maybe they missed the whole point, because now they're in their 30s, and if they want to play the game, they can play it, and they'll probably see it like that. But as a 9-year-old playing that game, it is
No,
seen through
no
different
9-year-old.
eyes.
I agree with you there. No 9-year-old should ever play that game. I agree with you there.
And there's no way
Yeah.
in hell.
There's way too much cursing. There's way too much
There's
violence. Way too much.
there's way too
Yeah,
much cursing in my house
yeah.
anyway, and I was
Way
doing it.
too much crazy stuff in that game.
But as a mother, you have to draw the line.
Yeah.
And we chose the games as best we could. You know, they could play Sonic and all these other ones and kickboxing and all kind of wrestling stuff and all these other things and Mario and all. If you wanted to get into your the shooting games and stuff, and I was all for it because I knew it was a simulation. I knew eventually I was going to
I
teach them
have
how to
much
shoot.
harder time personally with Call of Duty than Grand Theft Auto.
Well, I'm a soldier.
Well, but Call of Duty, there was this one level where you basically shoot civilians at an airport. And I'm like, come on, guys, that's a little much.
Well, it's kind of realistic.
But nah,
War is hell.
even yeah, but
Yep, I
civilians at
do.
an
But
airport,
I
come
didn't
on.
say I didn't say I let them play that at 9.
Yeah,
I said
I would
that was one.
definitely not let any kid play that at
No,
9. Hell
no,
no, hell no.
no, no. If the thing is with me is if you don't have a good base, a base moral compass to go in and realize that what you're doing is wrong, you are not going to be able to override the programming that's in these games
Yeah.
because it does desensitize you. And if you don't believe it desensitizes you, Donnie, please look at the headlines in
Well,
the
no, I
newspapers.
agree with Cisco actually. Um,
You have to have a good base.
as soon as you said GTA should not be played by any 9-year old, I'm like, I wholeheartedly agree. No 9-year-old should play that game.
You
That's
got to
not a
be out of
game.
your mind to let your kids be playing
GTA
that
is
at that
meant
age.
for GTA is meant for college age men in their early 20s.
Here's
That's
one of
who
them.
it is. Yeah.
Here's the 9-year-old, by the way. Believe me,
Yeah,
I
but
had this fight
here's
in
the
my
thing.
house multiple times.
But the thing that bothered me was that people define GTA as the game where you kill hookers, because that's not what the game is.
Okay. Well, I'm really sorry, but these people who make these games, this is it.
Hookers can
It's
be
not
killed because anybody can be killed. It's supposed to
it's
like simulate
again,
reality.
that's not what I mean. You're
Yeah.
missing my point. The whole thing about all of that is it's desensitizing and it is a simulation.
Hmm.
Simulators started in the military. That's how
Yeah.
you teach pilots. This is how you teach astronauts. This is how you teach people to shoot. This is what it is. And it's programming, just like on television. And this whole thing in my time has changed. Back in the day, when I was a kid, you couldn't you couldn't show an ankle. You couldn't show the I Love Jeannie or I Dream of Jeannie couldn't show her belly button. Lucy and Ricky were actually married in real life, couldn't even sleep in a king size bed. I think the first king size bed was the Brady Bunch. I could be
You
wrong.
remember the hoopla over the first interracial kiss between William Shatner and
Yes, I do.
Michelle Nichols?
Yes,
That
I do.
hoopla?
And
People were flipped out
and
over
I
that.
thought that was awful because I'm dead set against racism of any kind. I'm dead set against it. Always have been since I was little. And I fought my own family, lost family members over how they were. I'm just dead set against it. So that was a whole other thing. But the thing is with me as a mom, if you don't have a good baseline and a good moral compass and they don't learn to respect themselves and respect other people, and then you tell them that, and then you go and buy them a game that says it's okay to disrespect other people just to get a score or shoot your way through, and that's the way you solve your problems. I'd rather have them think their way through and work their way through and do things in a let's put it this way, the roadhouse way. Be nice till nice no longer works. Plain and simple. I'm a single mom raising two boys on my own, uphill both ways, barefoot. You understand? And those games have caused more problems for parents who stick their kids in front of them and go off and get all their stuff done. And then you got, in my age, it was the TV raising the kids, and now it's the video games and the phones. So I get sick when I see somebody in a grocery store, and I'm not criticizing anybody for this, don't get me wrong, but it makes me ill when I see people in a grocery store and the baby's got the phone and they're watching some Disney shit on the phone, and not I say baby, but like a 3 or 4-year-old. My children shopped with me. They added stuff together. They checked things off a list. They looked at different prices and things like that. They tried to help me decide what, they could have that one thing. Well, how long will that one thing last? What are you getting for your money? Everything was a learning opportunity. And at the whole time, you're trying to teach them, again, to respect other people. And I'm watching these people shooting zombies left and right just to get a higher score. And I'm like, my God, what did you just do? In fact, one time I remember how old they were. They were playing something, and this is when they were older. This is like their tweens or something. And they were playing something. They said, well, just shoot the dog. And I'm like, if you shoot that dog, that Sega is going in a ditch. And they knew I meant it. Because at this point, you're getting, okay, just, take care of it. That's psychopath shit.
Yeah,
Kill
what's kind
everything
of
that's
messed
in your
up,
way.
actually, Cisco?
Kill everything that's in your way just to get what you want. And that's not the way life is. And if that's what we've got, we need to go back.
I'm not exaggerating here, and I'm not exaggerating at all. But when you said that, I'm thinking back, man, all day. What was I doing all day before this podcast? I was sitting there shooting foxes all day. Oh my God, I'm terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, you're terrible. All right. But you're also old enough to discern that that's not how life works, And if it does, then I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay, actually, Cisco, can I rephrase my prior argument in a way that I think you would understand better? Because I think I figured it out.
I understand perfectly, Donnie,
no,
and I really don't want to end this show on this note. That's
No,
for
this is
sure.
a good one. This is a good
Not
one.
what I wanted.
No, this is a good one. Trust me, this is a good one. Okay.
Oh
One
boy,
of the
that's
things I know about you, Cisco, is that your favorite band is AC/DC.
yep.
Yeah.
If you say something about Angus, I will be at your house before
I'm not
dawn.
going to say anything, but I want to ask you, Cisco, have you ever told someone that your favorite band was AC/DC, and then what if they came back to you and was like, are you talking about that band that worships the devil? Have you heard that?
Who's the person?
I don't know, whoever you were talking to, because people say
that would be an answer on different. If it's a total stranger,
or
listen
whoever,
to me.
like maybe a church person. Has anyone ever said that
I've
to you?
had this conversation throughout my life.
Tell me about this
If it
conversation.
was somebody I didn't know,
Mhm.
depending, let's put it this way, Donnie, it would depend on my general mood, because more than likely I would look at them and go, yup, because they don't know me and they have no right to judge me. You see what I'm saying? And if I don't care enough to stop and have a conversation and explain it to them, I'd give them some snippy answer and walk away.
Mhm.
But if it was somebody I cared about, like it's my older sister or something, go, I'm really concerned about you because you're listening to these devil bands and I think you're going to go wrong and all that. First, I'd realize that that's coming out of love. She cares about me. That's why she's saying this. She's just not whipping it out of somewhere. So there's
Mhm.
a different answer for other people, you know. And also, I was old enough to discern for myself. I like the music. I've been listening to 50 years. I can't tell you half the words, maybe the chorus. But I also come up from the time where people were sitting there spending all this time spinning stuff backwards to see what it said. But I also come from the time where young people were killing themselves because they were listening to Don't Fear the Reaper and that's all they needed, or they needed a line from this song or a line from this song. And, I think
Hmm.
that it's all about mental health. And if you've got people that are out on a limb and all they need is a little, something's going to do it. We got to get them before that. And that's what I'm talking about. When you have young children, you have to eat. If you're going to watch something, you have to love them and parent them through it so they understand right from wrong, not just what's cool. Because there is a sad thing going on in this world when we have 11 saws or we have all of these things where people are watching people pulling skin off of other people for
Yeah,
no reason
I don't get all that
other
saw
than
stuff. Like
the
you just like
torture.
watching, yeah, you just like
Right.
watching suffering, really? That's all you're
I
about?
mean, 9 out of 10 people couldn't stay in a room when something like that was really happening to somebody.
Mm-mm.
They're pretending to be something they're not. And then they get to that one point and it's they get themselves into such a mess. So we have to figure out where we went wrong here. We can go back to 1952 with this family. Now I don't care if this is an Asian family, a Native American family that happens to be living like this, or like I said, 4 aunts and a grandma raising a kid. I don't give a crap what's in the home. The family is a family, but they lived as a unit and they helped each other, and dad went to work and paid the bills. It just wasn't enough, and when it wasn't enough they found a way to tell these kids, you know what, we're not going to have everything, but we have each other. We still have a roof over our heads. We still have, we can take baths, we do all this. You have running water. This poor woman's got this grind, washing machine. My mom had that. She was proud to get it because it was costing so much to go to the laundromat, and it was killing her hands. On one day, she had off a week to wash all our clothes for the week by hand, and she was so thrilled that somebody gave her the wringer part so she could just wring out the clothes to hang them on the line. And I remember hanging clothes on the line to the point where our hands were chapped because it was cold. I remember taking down jeans that were frozen on the line. You ever had that? So the whole thing is perspective, Donnie. Whether it's Grand Theft Auto or whatever. If you were, and I don't mean this as an insult in any way, but if you were a dad that had 2 kids and you raised them by yourself, and you were in the time I was living in, and then you had told me that, I would have said, you know what? I don't care about the game. These people are going to make money that, whether I buy this thing or not. These kids are going to school, and everybody's got this or that's when like $250 sneakers were coming out. I had duct tape in my shoes, you see. So I was lucky to have shoes on them that fit so they could go to school and not be teased about that. Now I got to deal with all this. I got to have this. I got to have this. I got to have this. And they were never like that. But this is what they're hearing in school from other kids. So you have to find a way to teach your children that, maybe you're not telling them they can't have it because you can't afford it, but you're also telling them, I didn't take the short answers, dude. This is me. This is long form Cisco here. I took time to explain to my kids why. Not why I didn't want them to have it. Not why I would rather they didn't have it. Why they fucking weren't getting it. Period. And why I thought it was garbage. And I don't understand why little kids are blowing the heads off of zombies and shooting things and getting desensitized. You cannot tell me that it doesn't affect them. Can't. Its studies have proven it has. Life has proven it has. So I just think I was a damn good mother in a bad good time. And now I have two decent human being adult sons. You've met one of them. You see what I'm saying? That know the difference between right and wrong. Not always did right. But when it's not about the mistakes you make or how you fall down, it's how you get up. And they were taught to get up. You know what I mean? And they were taught to live right. And they were taught to be kind to people until kind no longer works. If you can't remove yourself from the situation, then you know, and that's just the way I chose to raise them. You know? And to this day.
But wait, are you saying video games are evil though? Because it kind of sounds like me you're describing them.
Not all of them, no. No.
You know, desensitizing kids to blowing.
Let me tell you this, Donnie. If you really want an answer to that question, I think the purpose, a lot of the purpose behind them is.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And some of them, not all of them. Cool. I don't think you can group everything into a group like that and then take a broad brush. Because I don't think there's anything evil about certain Sonics. I don't know that much about them. I mean, I'm not in the world.
Exactly.
You know?
You don't know that much about them.
No, but some of the people behind, not the people that made them, not the people that designed them and work on them and stuff like that. The purpose behind it. The same as the purpose behind movies and television and certain music and things like that. Yes, I do think there's an evil behind some of it. Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'd be lying if I said no. Because look at some of the things it's done. If you look at some child, if you take a child who has no parental guidance, who has no family base, and you put them in front of something that's going to keep teaching them something, whether it be TV or not, or whatever it may be, it absolutely has an effect on them. I mean, I've often been grateful that if I had to spend a lot of time alone, no money, and was by myself and had no other family around me when my mother went to work and I came home from school, latchkey kids, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Latchkey kids. I was actually grateful. I was actually thinking about this today, that I at least had programs that taught me some morals. Because at that point in time, I can remember the stuff I was watching was like Andy Griffith. This is all that was on. You only had 3 channels, right, guys? You guys remember? So you got Andy Griffith, and it always had a moral at the end. You know, it had different things. Even the Disney movies, people forget that Disney had a lot of really good movies back in the day. And I don't mean like all the famous ones, just like Cinderella and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, TV and Babysitter, right. They had different ones, all of these different old movies they had, not just like Song of the South and all that, but really good movies. And they always taught you a moral. And, like the kid would do bad or do whatever, but there was a consequence, like that one episode where Opie gets a BB gun. Okay. And Opie is out with the other kids and they're like, well, have you shot it yet? Well, I'm not supposed to shoot it without my dad. Well, okay. Now he's made a promise to his dad. Now peer pressure is making him break the promise to the dad. So that's the first one. And then he winds up shooting a bird. Now that's bad. He felt bad right away, but the kids around him were like, oh, all this was going on. Well, he goes home and the nest of birds that the mother that he shot was right outside his window. And Andy went and sat on the bed and explained to him everything he had done wrong, why he was disappointed, why he was no longer getting to keep the gun, or whatever the punishment there was with the guy. I don't remember what the BB gun thing was. But he said, you hear those babies outside crying? They're going to starve to death because you killed their mother. There are consequences for this. Now you can lay here all night in this bed and listen to them cry and scream for the mother that you killed. There was a consequence. Okay? They didn't learn to instantly kill something to get extra points or a power pack or energy up to get to the next stage. Because to me, to young boys, that was teaching them that if something is in your way, destroy it. No consequences whatsoever to get to the next part.
That was a very dismissive way of describing video games, by the way, for the
Which
next
one?
energy level or power up. Like to think that the whole medium is all about that. I'm just saying, I
I'm
feel like
not
that's a
saying
very
it's all
unfair
about that, Donnie, and
box
I
that
know
you
you're
put us
very big
into.
into the games, but you've
Yeah.
obviously had video games in your life. It means a lot to you. And I'm not trying to take that away from you. I'm telling you that they can't take
I
my
kind of
son.
resent it being described as evil garbage, though, is what I'm saying.
I never said it was evil garbage. You asked me if I thought they were evil. I said not all of them. You cannot paint it with a broad brush. So tell me what I said.
Okay,
And
fair enough.
and I also said not all of them, but I think the premise behind it is.
Just for the next power up or level thing, really?
No, you're missing my point.
That's what
You're
you said
missing my
earlier.
point. I said that you cannot teach young children, especially young boys, and I don't mean to,
But here's the thing:
between.
most of these games are not even marketed towards children; they're meant for young men.
True.
Yeah.
Even still, now you take a young man who doesn't have any basis. You see where I'm going? And
Okay.
then
Okay. Fair enough. Yes,
you
I
know,
see you now.
certain
I'm
games.
following you. Okay.
There's so many games. Now you got to also ask them, why do you want to play that game? Why are you interested in this game? Why are you attracted to this game? Explain to me why. Well, Timmy has it. Okay. Now
That's
tell me
not why
about
I'm
that.
into those. That's not why I'm into
No,
those games, though.
I'm creating a conversation to try to better make my point so you don't feel like I'm attacking you. I'm not attacking you. You get to do whatever you want to do,
Okay.
and you get to do whatever you want to do with it. But I cannot imagine, and I don't think you're saying that, like you said, you don't think young kids, because there's mature and there's kids and there's this and
Mhm.
there's that. I see all the things on there, just like movies. But what you asked me, I didn't say video games were evil. I said the premise behind them. Not the people making them, not the people designing them, the whole thing behind it.
Well, the premise behind them defines the thing itself. Is so. If
Not
the
really.
premise behind them is problematic, then you're saying video games are problematic.
Who's behind television?
Okay, well, all right, fine. You got me there. If you're talking about like the agenda and the okay, here's the thing. I'm defending video games
Exactly what I'm
as an
talking
art
about.
form.
Took you a long time to get
No,
there,
no,
buddy.
I'm defending video games as an art form. And I feel like when people say GTA is all about killing prostitutes, to me, that's people dismissing video games as the art form that I know it is. Because to me, video games is the ultimate art form. I think compared to video games, all other art form is crap. Film, crap. Shakespeare, literature, crap. Painting, crap. Video games are the ultimate art form. So the thing I get defensive about is when they say, "Oh, it's all about the level up," or "You just want to kill prostitutes." I'm like, you're dismissing an entire art form.
But what about, do you think that you could go in a room of 100 teenagers? Just answer this question. Do you
Okay.
think that you could walk into a room with 100 teenagers, mix them up? I don't care what they are. Just
Okay.
teenagers, 15 to, or let's go lower, 12 to 16. And ask each and every one of those kids, why do you want to play this game? Pick a game. I don't care what it is. Let's talk Grand Theft Auto. And I don't know that much about the game. I've seen like the first like two, maybe. I've seen most of the way through a couple of them. It's not that I haven't seen it. And ask them why they want to play the game. Well, I like this, or I like this. This, I'm attracted to that. I like the way it's set up, or you're not going to get a lot of those answers. You're going to get, because Sally has it, and I want what
No,
Sally has.
you're wrong. You're wrong. You're
Okay,
absolutely wrong.
go
You're
ahead.
absolutely wrong. Because
Tell me
every
why I'm wrong.
gamer I know is into their own little set of games. Gamers like the
That's
games that
true.
they like.
That's true. That's
Nobody
true.
buys games because the other person's getting it. You're absolutely wrong, Cisco. On
That, no, I'm not, because I'm a
no,
mother.
you're absolutely wrong.
No.
Because if a game sucks, if it doesn't speak to you, people just stop playing it. There's so many games are not popular because the other person has it. Games are popular because everyone likes it because they're
I
that
agree
good.
with what you're saying there, but when you have a group of kids at a bus stop and Johnny got a pair of sneakers, okay? This kid doesn't have sneakers. They want the sneakers this kid's got, or they want their own form of the sneakers that I don't want the Converse. I want the Pumas. I don't want
Okay.
the LeBron James. I want these.
I'm
Listen,
not denying that don't exist.
kids
I'm not
are
denying that. Yeah.
always influenced by peer pressure and what other people
Peer
have.
pressure is
Their
a thing.
minds at a young age are not
Yeah.
developed enough to pick something because they like that style. Now, they'll play a couple of things and say, I really liked playing Sonic. I really liked playing Metal Gear. I really liked playing this.
Mhm.
I like those first person shooter games. No, I like these games better. I like the games that are more fancy, like, Red Dead Rollover, whatever it's called. I like those games. That's my genre, you know. At the age that some of these kids are starting, they don't have a genre. They want it because they want to be part of the group at school.
Mm-mm. Again, disagree.
Okay.
No.
When you're a parent, you can come and disagree with me about being a
Okay,
parent.
I'll tell you why. Because I know because when I was a little kid growing
Case
up,
closed.
I was that kid playing video games all the time. And a lot of the other kids liked the same games that I did, but I didn't play the games because they liked it. I played the games because they recommended it. They all agreed it was good. I'm like, you all right, for example, movies, right?
Hmm.
Remember growing up, there was that movie where everyone just comes out and was like, that was the greatest movie ever. You got to check it out. And then you go watch it and you're like, holy crap, that was a really good movie, right? It's like that. It's like just because something is universally beloved does not mean it's the result of peer pressure. And just because all kids like video games, peer pressure has a very small part to do with kids liking
Hmm.
video games. Video games, kids like
There are
video
a
games
lot of
because they're fun. That's it. They're just fun. It's not little Timmy looking at little John right as next to us. He's like, oh, he likes Pokemon. No, Pokemon is like good,
hmm
right?
hmm
So I mean, I'm not denying what you're saying because peer pressure does exist. I remember as like a kid in the '80s, I would buy starter jackets just because all the other kids in my class had starter jackets,
You just
and
proved
I
my
didn't
point.
even like football, but I had a starter's jackets, and I felt
Just
so
proved
stupid
my
wearing
point.
it.
And when
Yeah,
your poor kid's growing up
yeah.
and you don't have anything the other kids have, and
Hmm.
something that big comes out,
Yeah. I
you
remember kids
understand?
like spending like so much money for Air
There's nothing
Jordans.
wrong with Kingdom Hearts and all these other and the sports games. They were just never into sports games. They never got into Madden or any of that
Yeah.
other mess. They're not into the sport. They like sport. I just went to hockey last week,
Mm.
but it is, and it's a problem. And yeah, I do believe that behind a lot of them is very evil. But I also think there's evil behind Disney, Donnie, and you know this.
I get you there. You and
You
I
know
are
this.
totally
There's evil
eye to
behind
eye there.
television.
We're so eye to eye there.
There's
Yeah,
programs are programming.
we
The
are on the same
telly
level. Yes.
television is telling you what to see. All
Oh
of
boy,
this,
evil.
I can prove all of it.
Disney's bad, folks.
I can prove
Disney's
all
bad.
of it, you know? So I'm thankful that I was a strong enough parent to say no. And sometimes no is no. Sometimes no is no. Most of the time, no is no.
No should be no as a parent.
Yeah, yeah,
No
absolutely.
should be
And
no.
but I didn't just do it and take the easy route out like I tried to explain. But I think in a lot of it, you're being very defensive about video games because they mean a lot to you, just the same way I would be defensive about, I don't know, what, ghosts maybe. But
AC/DC, because dismissing
I
them
could
as
give a
being
shit
satanic.
what you say about ACDC,
Yeah,
Donnie. It's not going to stop me from listening.
exactly.
And I'm not going to say, you can say, listen, I fought my entire high school over ACDC, because it was
I
ACDC
agree with you,
and Led
woman.
Zeppelin and everything else. And you know
I'm
why
all
I went
for it.
against? Led
I'm all
Zeppelin,
for it.
because everybody else thought they were so great, and I was just not really. Now
Actually, I went against.
there's a
I actually,
Luciferian band
um,
right there, an actual one.
I actually went against Led Zeppelin. Sorry, I went against Led Zeppelin when I found out that they plagiarized. That's right, folks. They plagiarized.
Yeah, and Crowley had, that was
Plagiarist,
kind of huge too. I mean, that's
plagiarist pieces of.
actual Satanist shit,
Yeah.
actual shit.
Oh,
So
I
I
hate
mean, and I don't
plagiarists.
say, yeah, I mean, be kind. I'm serious, man. Don't tell. First of all, the thing is this: you cannot tell me that shit doesn't program you, because television programs you, commercials. My parents were advertisers. They can program and propaganda you with very little words. You know what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying?
I agree with you
You know,
there. I agree with you there.
very little words. Propaganda is huge. If you don't believe a propaganda works, look back at 1934. Okay, go back and look. So, Tokyo Rose, look at all of it. It's being used now. This is all what's happening now. And if you don't see it and you're not willing to look at it with honest eyes, and run it through your filters, they're going to be able to keep on doing it. And a lot of times I believe the parents just get tired of fighting all the battles. So they cave in on a lot of stuff and they don't even realize what's going on. And if they did realize what was going on, please explain to me what's going on in schools right now and how parents are going, excuse me, what? And finally
Mm.
going to school meetings and going and looking in the school libraries. I'm going to tell you something. When I went to school in the third grade, there was a book called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And
I remember that book.
they had to fight to get that book in the library so girls, coming into puberty could get it, because a lot of girls didn't have parents that explained to them what was going on. That's how they got the book in. And this wasn't in
Wait,
Jersey, so it must have been in Virginia.
who was trying to keep the book from getting into the library though?
Because there was stuff in there that about getting your menstrual, coming into puberty. She had a problem. She didn't have boobs, so
Hmm.
she was all these girls were telling her you have to do all these different things. So Margaret would, and I don't. It's been years since I've read this, so I'm going to get it
Hmm.
wrong. But she was going through trying to be a child, a girl growing up without somebody to talk to, and she wasn't getting information. So it was really good for young girls. I think it was well written, but again, I was in the fourth grade. It's been a minute. So
Oh, it came out that long ago?
wait, Dottie, wait. The whole
Oh,
point, you're going off in a different direction. The whole
sorry.
point of it was the school board would not allow the book in there because it had the word breast and menstrual period in there. That's the whole
Really?
reason they wouldn't allow that book in. Now, I
Oh,
defy you to go into a school library right now and go look at the books that are in there now. This is a very short amount of time. And we're talking about a child's mind. So now parents are waking up and they are going to see the things that are going on and they're fighting to get it back. Okay? So we're going from, again, not long after that video we just saw, so 1975 to now, you have a school board fighting to keep a book out because it had that in it and they didn't think it was appropriate for young people to read something like that unsupervised. Okay? They weren't at the point where they were doing the Nazi thing where they were burning books in the street, which I don't agree with. But now, go look at what your kindergartners, first, second, and third graders are reading now. Go see what's in the library.
I have no
But
idea what they're reading now,
my whole
actually.
point to that story,
Hmm.
how did we get there? We got there because they kept us busy paying taxes on top of taxes on top of taxes and telling us that it was the civil thing to do. It was your civil duty. Okay?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
made you think you needed 2 cars, 2
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah.
Your kids needed to be in every sport and every activity.
Yeah. They
Okay?
did make us think that. Yeah.
We've gone from essential businesses that are left open are liquor stores, Home Depot, but the little privately owned hardware store can't stay open. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going here?
And I do notice an awful
All
lot
of
of liquor
this is a
stores. I notice a
systematic
lot.
programming,
I
and
notice a lot
video
of
games are a part of it. And you know they are. I'm not saying they're all evil. I'm saying what behind it
Don't
is.
dismiss my
And the
art
evil
form,
thing
lady.
is, and the evil part of it is, it's happening in your home, and it's happening right in front of you. And we're too busy to notice it. And that's how we got from "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret," not being allowed in the library, and parents going in and saying there are young girls in here that could use that assistance. Maybe if we have them sign it out, which was kind of like almost the equivalent to us at the time is probably a young boy having to go to the, we're older, let's hope, to go to the drugstore to ask for a condom. You ever see
Be
that in
Kind said
American
something that's kind of
Graffiti?
interesting. Be Kind said something that's kind of interesting. Hold on, Cisco. Be Kind said, "We got here because too many parents in the early 80s were." You agree with that?
Hang on.
We got here because too many parents in the early 80s were.
She probably means work. Did you mean work, Be Kind? That's probably a typo. That's the thing. Well, why? Why? Because everything went up higher. They made it harder and harder and harder and harder. It's a systematic thing. If you guys don't realize that this whole thing has been planned for decades and is going and going and going, that pendulum is swinging, baby. And when it swings back, oh boy, you know what I mean? You might be going back to what we saw. And I hope so. I hope so.
Oh, Be Kind said,
What did
"No."
you
What'd you
know?
mean?
What? That doesn't make sense. We got here because too many parents in the early 80s were. 80s were what?
They were.
All right,
They
fix it
were
if we're wrong. Tell us what you
sexy.
meant.
They were
They were
fantastic.
playing video games. They were
They were breakdancing. They were doing karaoke. I don't know. What do you mean? They were doing what?
Yeah. Woo, woo. Yeah. I do get fired up. I do
Here we
get
go.
hot.
We got here because too many parents were not involved.
Yeah.
Those of us who were involved were chastised by the system. Okay.
Agree.
Yeah.
And many other things. This is a multi-level deal here. This is a multi-level deal. And it's hard to see all the layers. You got to get that 40,000-foot view and see the whole daggum thing. But it's actually, the whole thing's planned, and it's, Yep, that's it, Bobby. Here's somebody that agrees with me. Yep, there we go. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate that. I'm thankful for you, Bobby. I'm thankful for this conversation. Maybe somebody need to hear that. But this is the thing. Yeah, both parents have to work. Or, I watched it go. Again, I've said it 1,000 times on the show. We started putting 4-week-old babies in daycare and our elderly in homes because it was just too hard. I'm not telling anybody that, listen, if you're a single mom, you got to get back to work, keep a roof over your head, and you need to have somebody take care of your baby while you're okay. But guess what? If we stop putting our elderly out, we stop taking Aunt Woozy in, or whatever. It used to be a whole family stuck together, and you didn't have to do that, And again, grapes of wrath. They took the old folks with them and treated them with respect and kindness, as crazy and loony as they were in their old age. The old man was pretty funny, and they loved them through it. When you start getting an instant society where everything is instant, why do you think that we only have 15 subscribers? We do great research in a lot of these shows. We have really great guests. We have a fantastic chat because it's long form, and everybody has a short attention span now. People have been developed to just instant,
that is very true.
instant.
Yeah.
Give me that microwave food. I don't care how shitty it is. We've gone from going out hunting, going to getting water and gathering, having a meal together, and being gracious, working together as a whole village to create a home and to sustain life.
Think of all
into what we're in now. It's a goddamn shame.
Think of all of the new adults who have been brought up as children on Adderall.
Yep.
Oh, Be
Can
Kind
I
is
call it?
where
We're
Be Kind
fixing
was
to. I'll
called.
tell you what.
You know
Be
what?
kind.
Let's do
We'll
it.
have a call in next week because I only wanted to go to 10. And it's 11, and I'm getting hoarse, and I got my nauseous headache back, and because I got
Oh.
I just was talking for too long. I apologize. Donnie, I hope you weren't offended by that. I'm not offended. I don't get
Oh, I'm not
offended. I get
offended. I'm
pissed.
not offended.
No,
No.
but I get mad when people. No, not mad. Mad's the wrong word. I get a little bit. I'm Scottish Native American and I'm a redhead. I don't back down from a fight. I lean in. And I understand you misunderstood what I said at first because again, I didn't want to talk about video games tonight. This is about Thanksgiving. So you get to choose. This is about, like if you were a ghost, I'd tell you got free will. If you want to stay here and play video games, play video
Oh
games.
no. Be Kind is
Nothing against
pissed.
it.
Why are
Why
you
are
pissed?
you pissed?
Oh
Be
no.
kind what? All right, just call in. Here, I'll send you the link. Just call in, but then we're
Alright.
out of here. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know if
I
it's
always
going to
worry
let me.
about accidentally
Yeah, I don't
angering
want to
people.
leave a whole week for. Let's see.
Yeah.
Here you go. If
I'm
anybody wants to
always
pop
worried
in and
about.
tell me I'm wrong, you go ahead.
Oh,
Or
let's have random people call in. This is gonna be fun, Cisco. Let's keep this party
it's an
going.
hour over what I wanted to be here, Donnie. But go ahead.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'm gonna go get some hot water. I'll be right back.
All right. Sorry, guys. I don't know if anyone's. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I've no idea what happened there. Now I'm concerned. Hey, Cisco. Yeah, I think Be Kind left, so I think we're okay.
Do what?
Be Kind seems to have left, so I think we're
Why
okay.
is she mad? I don't even know what the
I
heck
I
she's saying.
I don't understand why. Yeah,
Did I miss something? Because
I'm
I
worried.
I can't see the chat. Well, I can't do anything
Chuck
about
E.
that.
Cheese says I would call in, but I didn't pay the phone bill.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what. Does anybody know why she was angry? I have zero clue what we're talking about here. So if somebody's mad at something I said or didn't say or didn't
Yeah,
do, I I got
yeah.
no idea.
Here's a little secret about me, Donny Cho as a person, like in my head. Every day I'm on a
I gave her
podcast,
the link, Chuck.
I'm always like secretly in the back of my head, like terrified at accidentally angering people. I have a bad habit and track history of doing that.
Yeah, it's I think it's the delivery, Donnie. I don't think it's the words. I think it's the delivery.
Yeah. I've got a reputation for that.
It makes people sometimes it makes people very defensive right out front because it sounds
Hmm.
aggressive.
If I
In
could get
some ways, I mean, I've learned to get, I've learned to, that's who you are, and I move through it because I'm not going to change somebody. That's the way a person is, and that's just it. And
yeah,
I also realize that's not how you mean it.
no.
You see what I'm saying? You have to
Yeah.
get to know a person a little bit to understand. Give them a little space to see this is how they mean it or they don't mean it. And I'm not really quick to
Oh, Be
judge.
Kind's back.
So be
Hey, Be
kind.
Kind.
Be kind. If
Okay,
you're going to
man.
be in my chat, I love you, darling, but if you're going to be in your chat and you're going to tell me you're angry about something, I have no idea what you're talking about. I can't see every word that comes up here on this chat. If I missed something or I said something, but don't tell me you're angry and then you're going to be out. I gave you the link. I'm staying here, later so you can call in. I don't understand what you're
Cisco
mad
does
about.
raise a very excellent point.
I don't know.
Does raise-
Be mad. People are mad, and I have no idea why you're mad. It kind of loses the effect. Why don't you tell me why you're pissed? I mean, nobody learns that way. When people get mad and they're just like, "That's it." I don't even know what anybody's saying. I'm concentrating. I'm looking at Donnie, and I'm talking to him, and I'm trying to catch the stuff that's in the chat.
Oh, it's okay.
Call in. I got more tea. I got more water.
Wait, hold on. Well, I'm
I'm
gonna
not scolding you. You said you were mad. I
wait.
saw.
I'm
I'm
gonna
mad.
take a quick
I'm mad.
bathroom break.
I'm out.
Bathroom break.
That's what I saw. Okay. Well, here's the Thanksgiving show, guys. I'm thankful we had it, and I wanted to leave you guys on a really nice feeling, but I don't think I accomplished that. I started out. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this one more time. I'm going to talk about these movies and then I'm out. Okay? So again, these are in the links. I think this is where you're going to get some comfort. Okay? I don't know who's out there, who's listening. There's a lot of people spending this time alone. A lot of people are snowed in, and they can't get this, and they miss family that is past. They miss the things that used to be. And I'm telling you now that even in this world of darkness and craziness and everything else, that you can achieve that within your own space with what you have to the best of your knowledge. Like somebody said in here, Paradox, I think, said something about potted meat and stale crackers or whatever. Okay. A lot of people don't have that, you know? So let's see if you can do that. Watch these and see if you can maintain some peace and some love in your heart, and maybe a little nostalgia too. Why not? Okay. Let's see. I think I heard a pop. Maybe Be Kind is here to bring us out. Here she is. Okay. Come on in, girl. What's up? Why are you pissed? Hey, baby. Hey, sweetie. What's going on? What were you saying that we missed? Because I didn't even know what you were saying.
Well,
Hello.
hi.
Hello.
It may just be a hot button for me, which is why I exited. It was not to like throw out a bomb and then diss you by leaving.
What hot button? What?
Maybe be quiet. Maybe I left because I needed to get control over my emotions some more. And obviously they're not in control entirely now. So I apologize.
Absolutely no reason for an apology, but accepted. But I don't think you have anything to apologize for. I'm just saying I didn't see what you were putting, so I don't know why you were mad. Can you tell me why you were upset?
Well, I was upset because of as a professional working woman who I might qualify had no choice in order to provide for her family.
Right.
I felt and still feel all the time the injustice that women do to women, because women make choices. Women make choices on how to provide for their family. Women make choices to do whatever needs to be done. And the best thing that women can do to support other women is to stop judging them. Daycare did not raise my children. I did. My children went to daycare, but we came home. They did their homework. We adjusted our evening schedule. We ate dinner together. And that went on for decades at my expense.
Yep.
Because
I understand.
I was the one who had to get up at 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure everyone had what they needed to get through the day. And I was the one that went to the after school meetings and made excuses with my bosses. No one else raised my kids. I did.
Absolutely. I understand that, but you misunderstood what I said.
I'm not finished.
Listen to me, Be Kind. You are yelling at me for something I didn't say.
I'm not finished, Sysco.
You were a good mom. You were a good mom.
Finished.
You may not be finished, Kind. I'm finished. You misunderstood what I said. You were going off on something when I said, when we're putting 4-week-old babies in daycare, this system has made people do this. You were a good mom. You were the exception.
I
But
know I was.
absolutely.
And you know what?
And I'm not judging other women. I'm judging our situation.
I was not the exception.
To what? There's many good moms out there. Honey, that what I said was not aimed at you or any other woman who has done what you've done.
It was aimed at the masses. That's the problem.
What's the problem?
Women need to stop making generalized statements about how other women choose to mother.
Okay.
That is the worst thing that we are doing to each other.
What I agree with what you're saying, but you're saying it, I believe, and I could be wrong, on what I said about when we started putting 4-week-old children, when women felt like they had to keep the career, to keep this, to keep a roof over their head. How did that happen? When did that start to happen? And I'm not talking about the women who were in war, whose husband came home, they were pregnant and they died, and they're on their own. I'm talking about the government who started splitting up the nuclear family and started rewarding women to go and have more kids on their own, and at the same time systematically screwing it up and make it even harder for the other side. But where's the family units too? This is all big, and I'm not judging other women. I said we started going wrong when we had started putting our separating family units, tribes, villages. Okay, I'm not judging other women. I'm judging this country. I'm judging the pressures put on people. What happened in 1952? What was the difference that happened from 1952, what we saw in that video? Now, we know that that was all programmed things, and not every family was like that. Right next door was somebody beating the hell out of his wife because he's a drunk. And next door on the other side, there was something else going on. This was a slice of what we thought it was, and some houses were like that. But behind every closed door has its secrets and its problems and its issues. What I said was we started going wrong when we thought it was okay to put tiny babies away and make other people work their butts off to barely make it. And now we've gotten you're around my age, so we know the difference. But these young people coming up, it's just bigger, bigger, faster, more. I sit here and I listen to all the time. I picked those kids up from school, got them things, shoved some macaroni and cheese in their face, got them in bed by 7, and now I'm drinking my wine, watching whatever. And I'm not saying women, fathers, mothers, whoever's raising the child. Somewhere along the way, we've lost the family unit in a large mass, not all. But I was not judging other women and how they choose to raise their children. Everybody can raise their children in any way. In some ways, you were just as agitated at me for what you thought I said as I was agitated for Donnie trying to tell me how to raise 2 young boys by myself, and that video games were okay at 9 and 10 in the situation when they were asking me to play those games, and why I said no. He went on the same tangent to defend video games as you are to defend women, and I'm not against women. I'm not against any woman who has to raise their children. My mother was a single mom. I was in babysitters all the time. I used to get upset because I'd watched my mom sad. She had to find a new babysitter. She had to work. I understand how hard it is. And again, just like you, my mother took the time to read to me. My mother just didn't shove me off so she could go and do whatever she wanted to do. But now we're starting to get into that society where it's more cars, more this, more that, not enough, bigger, bigger, more material things. My whole point of this show tonight was to get back to the basics of what was important, which is why I shared those movies. I'm not judging other women and how they raised their kids. I believe you did raise your children. Just like my mom would say, till she died, she raised me. And it wasn't the babysitters or the television, because she took the time. But people are losing that ability, be kind, because go back 20 years from us and they don't know it because it wasn't done for them to a large capacity. And certainly the young ones that are coming up now, what's it going to look 30 years from now? What do you think we're going to have? They're not even going to be able to talk to each other Everybody's texting now. They took all the emotion out. So much emotion, they had to put emojis in to replace it. So you actually are upset at me for something I wasn't even talking about. But I do agree with what you're saying. I agree your statement. And I'm very sorry you got mad. And I'm sorry that Donnie got mad. And
I
I
never
don't
got mad. I was never mad. I was
and I'm
actually having
sorry.
the
This
time
was
of my
supposed
life.
to be a Thanksgiving show.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'll give you both a chance to say what you want to say, and then we're out of here because my husband needs to get to bed. He's got to get up at 4:00 in the morning. So yell at me some more, and we'll decide whether or not we're having a show tomorrow night. Go ahead, Donnie. First, be kind. You first, ladies first.
You don't need to apologize to me. You did not. You do not need to apologize for making me upset. I own that. I just wanted to speak up on a particular hot button issue for me, which is women judging other women for how they raise their family. Yes, some take an easy, slack route, but don't paint everyone with that brush because of the choice they made on how to raise their family. It's not that simple. And it was not just you, Sysco. There were people in the chat also saying things. And so that's my objection is don't paint everyone just with a broad brush.
And you still think I'm painting women with a broad brush. You know what I'm painting? The government, the powers that be, and the people that are making the choices and the manipulation to make people think that that's what they have to do. And at the same time, making things so high and so impossible, almost impossible. We have people choosing medication over food. I'm in a whole neighborhood of them. You know,
I was choosing diapers and formula versus food for my 4-year-old.
A lot of people doing that right now.
My husband was in the Air Force.
Shouldn't have happened, but it did, didn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I get it. I get it.
I have lived what you're talking about in a deeply personal way. And there are other working women who have to work.
Yes.
And we should
and I was raised by one of them.
We should not make statements, all of us. We should not be making statements that daycare raised their kids. Because you know what? When my child got hurt at daycare and they called me on the phone, I was the only one they called mommy.
I got you.
It wasn't
you made your point.
Someone else.
So you made your point. Be kind. And I'm not painting. The only thing you made your point.
No,
you made it.
You're talking over me.
Sysco, let her
Listen
make
to
a
me.
point. Sysco.
I need to get my husband in bed. He gets up at 4.
Thank you.
And I told you in the beginning
I appreciate it.
that I never painted people by a big brush. I am painting the government and the powers that be that made people think that it was not okay. That's not what I'm saying. That it was necessary to have so much stuff that was almost impossible in debt and can't get out from under. I'm dealing with a future daughter-in-law that's doing that right now. And so many people around me doing the same thing. I don't try to paint people with broad brush, but situations, I mean, even video games. My God, I gave video games its fair shake and said, I'm not painting them all with a broad brush. I said, behind the idea of the television, behind the idea of telling everybody that they have to have so much. And the whole reason I started this, in fact, it's good all that happened, because when I started this whole thing, I showed us where we were in 1952. I showed us how everybody felt about their freedoms and the fact that they could go and vote. They could say what they wanted, and it was okay because they had freedom to do so. They could read the paper, and the editor.
That's not how I saw that video, though.
Well, I can't help that.
I
This
saw
is how
that
I
video.
presented it.
Okay. I'm
That's
not gonna
how
say
I.
what I
That's how I presented it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And saying, how much of this do we have left, and how much do you still want to hang on to? You know, in fact, the Be Kinds, you know, like she worked extra hard to make up for the fact that she did what she did. She was a good mom, and she had to work extra hard to make sure, get up early in the morning. She went without to provide. She made sure she was, you know, the one that was there to care for her kids if they were sick or whatever. But that's just not what's happening now for a lot of people. It's almost like they can't, you know. And like I said, what did I say before that? In my neighborhood, I have a woman living there by herself, by himself, in these big empty houses. When in the movies I just showed you and what I was suggesting that we watch, you've got all of these people in a small place with very little doing very well. That was my point. That was my point. Not painting women with a brush, not trying to belittle somebody for a choice they had to make. I was raised by a single mom who worked hard every day until she died of cancer. Every day. Till the 2 weeks she went in the hospital and didn't come back out. But she was a mom and she spent the time with me. My fear, and what I was trying to say, was my fear is that the people that are coming up, the next generation behind, maybe two more, back 20 years maybe, what are they coming up in now, and what are they going to have to offer? I mean, if you're going to tell me that people haven't changed as far as what's important, you know, we used to have a decision. Do I want a career? Do I want to go to college? What do I want to do? Right? And so many things have changed. What do you want to be? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? You know, so many things have changed. It's really got to the point where it's not what you want to do anymore. It's what I have to do, you know, and people are really starting to try to get into these tribes where in small groups, everybody can help each other out. So maybe you don't have to do that as much, but I would never, ever judge people by the group. I wouldn't even judge video games by the group. So why would I judge people by the group? I take people one at a time. I was saying, and I will state it one more time, I am talking about the system that made people think that that's what they had to have. And that has broke up a lot of the family unit, and it's breaking away, and it's done on purpose to pull you away from all that and get you singled out. What do you think this whole last thing was? To separate you from families, stay 6 feet apart, can't go visit people in the hospital while they're dying. I do funerals every day. I sit with the families. I'm not just talking about one or two. We're up to about 6, 7, 8 every 2 days. That's a lot for a small place where I'm at. Just feeding, 2 funeral homes? Come on, man. And I see what's happening. And I'm just trying to put out there that if you were lonely this Thanksgiving, if you were yearning for a little bit of that nostalgia, whatever your nostalgia may be, your nostalgia might be, you know, pizza and olives and football games. That's fine. You know, that's fine. I was just trying to give you something and show you a simpler time where things were simpler, and, you know, maybe a red ribbon on a tissue paper package was like the big deal. How did we get to this? How did we get to this? You know, now I'm sorry Be Kind got upset, but I do believe that she misunderstood what I said, and I realize it's a hot button issue, and I apologize to her for being upset. I don't know what was going on in the chat. I can't see everything. So I apologize if anybody got upset in the chat tonight. Like I said, sometimes when I get tired, everything gets really blurry, and I have to really, you see me leaning up, and I'm trying to see what was said. But my intention tonight was to be thankful for what we had, and if we couldn't find something to be thankful for, maybe to look back in time at a time where people thought the littlest things were important. Donnie, do you want to say anything before we leave?
No, actually, honestly, Cisco, can I be real honest with you, my lady?
Sure, Donnie.
This has been one of the most fun I've had in a long while.
I'm not
This was a
surprised
fun
you
show.
said that, Donnie. Not surprised at all.
Yeah.
That wasn't my intention. I spent a long time today, sick as a dog, and trying to bring some happiness to people that might need it tonight. And I feel like we failed there somewhere along the line. So, good
No,
night,
I
everybody.
think we did well. I think the people were actually pretty.
I'm glad
entertained.
everybody had a good time.
I think everyone had a good time. I've been watching the chat pretty carefully, and it looks like everyone's having a pretty awesome time.
I don't know. Aunt Edna's fired. If you want to call in and yell at me, Aunt Edna?
I think Cisco. I think you and I hit it out of the park tonight. I think this is one
Again,
for the ages.
Wasn't my intention, and I'm not using this show really isn't for that.
And it's like, Donny Cho, you rascal.
It's supposed to make you feel better, not worse when you leave. And I gotta be honest, I feel worse. So I'm not doing that on my show. And this is the thing. I'm gonna say what I want to say. If you want to disagree with me, I'm fine with that. You have free will. It's your right. That's my point. But again, if you're gonna misunderstand something I said, and I tell you 3 times that's not what I said, and you're still yelling at me, we have a problem. So there we go. All right. Good night, everybody. Good night, Donnie. Bye. I'll talk to you later, and we'll talk about Liz Borden. Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, by the way. Good folks.
Honestly, dude,
I have a good one on this
can't
one.
fix everything. My husband has to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah,
and he lets me do this, and
I gotta
so
get up pretty early tomorrow morning
so I can reach out to people and try to make their night happy.
So thank you for tonight, Cisco. And I'm like, oh boy, Lizzie Borden, we're gonna have fun with that one. So,
yeah, and I think it's gonna take some twists and turns that that you might not expect in some ways, but we'll talk about it. If you feel like you've got time to do a little bit of I want to give you a little small spot or something that you're real good at. You can go and look for some information I need, and so you're not overwhelmed, because I know your hands hurt and stuff like that, and there's a good point. How your hands feeling, Donnie? Video games aren't evil. Whoa.
Oh yeah, there is that.
I'm sorry. I figured you'd enjoy it.
No, there is that.
I figured you'd enjoy that.